Okay, hello everyone. Hope you all doing well, guys. Let's start from the homework first so other people can still join, and I will explain you what you did in bug reporting and also provide my feedback. And also I have a few more questions because some people are using nicknames in Slack and real names in the bug reporting, so I cannot match and understand who are those people and whom to count that homework to. So let me then just share my screen. Okay, so for the bug reporting, you were filling the form, the bug report form, and I actually can open the form itself and just click through it, or I just created a spreadsheet out of oh my god, out of that bug report form, and this is your responses, and we will go through them right now. But before we will start, I would like to ask you if you have any questions, so I can answer them before we start doing this. Okay, no questions, then let's get started. So first of all, I will be skipping these kind of bugs, like text area consists of single line, because I was reporting that, so it was pretty straightforward for you. And then let's see this one. Ellipsis doesn't appear when the number of patients on the table is more than 7. Pretty good summary, because I can easily understand what happens even from reading the summary. And that means that it's a pretty good summary, because I don't have to even read the steps to reproduce, take a look on the screenshot, but I pretty much understand what happens. So pretty good. Then the steps to reproduce: open the app, take a look at the table section, add more than 7 patients to the queue. I would switch those 2 and 3 because you open the app, then you add more than 7 patients, and then you take a look what happens. So logically, it would be like 1, 2, and then 3. Now ellipses appear, and then a screenshot. Let me open it. And there is a screenshot with 9 patients. We have a scroll bar over here, which is absolutely incorrect. So that's a valid bug. You're pretty good. So thank you, Elvira. I know that you have more bugs over here, but I will just randomly picking something from the table. So Stanislav. So Elvira, I see you here, and good job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Also, I saw your homework for GS2 already. I checked it and it's done. So congratulations to Stanislav and Elvira. Already, you guys are getting the discount for the first month if you consider the joining the course. So, but in general, great job. You did all the homeworks. I won't be checking the homework for automation because it will be like a sandbox for you just to play. But I will be definitely checking all the homeworks from QA and from coding basics. Okay, so thank you, good work, Elvira, and let's go forward. So we have Stanislav. Here, table text size is 1 RAM instead of 0.75 RAM. Open the app, inspect the table. Table size is 1 RAM, 16 pixels, and should be expected result is 0.75. Let's see. So you are inspecting the table. Okay. Table, and you say 1 RAM. Let me see that. Inspect. So let me reload. Maybe somebody added something. No. Inspect, and in your case, you added these. You selected div. Okay. What if I select table? Yeah, it's 1 RAM. I see 1 RAM, 16 pixels. Okay. And what are our requirements say? Okay, what are the requirements here? Test estimation. Let me check the requirements just to make sure that's a valid bug. Table. Yeah, text size is 14 pixels. Really? Isn't if I inspect this one precisely? Yeah. So actually, as you can see, the entire page, if you select body, it will be 1 RAM. So it will be size 1 RAM. But specifically in header, if you find this element, for example, I'm not sure when it's applied, at which level. So here we have 16 pixels, but if you select this cell, so the text in itself, the text, if you select the text, it's 14. And this comes from this style, multi-table cell. So this class cell to root over this. This class actually applies that style. So actually it's not a bug. You just inspected the wrong element. Actually, the text itself is, actually it's incorrect. In this case, it's 875. 875. And what it says here, oh man. Oh, it's correct. So actually you even provided incorrect expected result. It should be 875 like this. 875, then it will be equal to 875, 14 pixels, and actual result is matching expected results, so it's not a bug. You just expected wrong element. Which is happening a lot. So sometimes you can be wrong and you can report not a bug, and developer will just reply, hey, you just probably inspected the wrong element or something like that, and you will find out that this is not a bug and you will close it. And that's it. Closed is not a bug. That happens sometimes, so do not worry about that. You're still learning, so it's absolutely fine to make mistakes right now in order to avoid them in the future. Okay, an empty table doesn't have a get in line to the first text. Absolutely, I know this bug, so you are absolutely correct. Yeah, it's just empty over here. Absolutely correct. So good job, Stanislav. You have more bugs over here. In case of 8 patients in the table, doesn't display first 5, then ellipsis, and then last patients. Okay, so you don't have to put such long description. It's still not too bad, but you can make it shorter like this. Ellipsis doesn't appear when the number of patients is 8 and more, or more than 7 or something like that. But it is okay. I fully understand what happens only just from reading the summary, which is okay. So let me just go below. Okay, let me select somebody else. So Ksenia is not bold. The text in the table header is in the bottom left section is not bold. So open the app, inspect the table in the left bold section, and font size, font weight is 500 and should be 700 units. And you inspect it over here. Let me see. Yep. And font weight is 500. I believe that's true. And that's a very good bug, actually. Over here, yeah, it's 500. It should be 700. What if I change it to 700? How it will change over here? 700. Yeah, it made it a little bit bolder. Yeah, but that's a good bug. It's actually a very good catch, because visually you probably won't be catching it, but by inspecting the exact values, you caught it. So pretty good catch. Good job. Okay. Let me see something very interesting. Is always enabled. Okay, so the ID is incorrect over here, because it should be uppercase, but it's lowercase, a partial lowercase, just the first letter is uppercase. Correct. Okay, good bugs, guys. And actually you have reported, oh man, almost 100 bugs, which is absolutely amazing. It's like, it's a lot of bugs. I know that there are some duplicates, but again, almost 100 bugs, it's like amazing number. Okay, so let me select, the first question I have. So Vladimir K, are you here? Oh, Vlad K. Vlad K and Vladimir.
Yes, yes.
Same?
Well, yeah, it's Vladimir K. Yeah, it's me.
Because I see that there is Vlad K as well, so I was asking who is that?
Yeah. That's the same thing. Okay, I'll change it to my real name when I start.
Yeah, that's fine. I just
I have a question about the bug that was just reported because I was looking into it and I was kind of thinking, how do I know that it's like visually it would look bolder to me than the actual text in the table. So and I was like, I did look into the weight like of 500, but I'm like, okay, how do I know that it's supposed to be? If I can tell bolder.
Yeah, I believe.
See what I'm saying? I mean, like, because I mean, I was kind of like on the fence, you know, like if I should report it or not, but visually I've decided, nah, yeah, it's kind of, you know, bolder. I'm not going to report it. Just saying. And I have another question. When we will get to the registration form, you know, the input fields, how the first name, what's that called? Those kind of placeholders, you know how they go down? Yeah, they're supposed to go decrease by like from 100% to 75%. I was kind of like visually it does, but I wasn't able to figure it out from the HTML or styles code, like if it's actually 75% or not.
Okay, so you can enter something and then inspect it.
No, but I mean, okay.
And then inspect it, and let's see what we will get over here.
Yeah, well, basically my question is, how do I know that it goes from 100% to 75%?
Yeah,
5%. I see it's getting smaller, but I mean, percentage-wise, you know.
Yeah, percent. So this is 100%. This is
okay. No, I get it. Okay, yeah, but how do I know it goes down, like it decreases to 75%, not to 70 or 67, or you know?
Let me see. Label. Yeah, so there is a way to do this over here. But you need to know it, right? So this is a very good question. You may have the same question on your project because there may be some things that you don't know, right? You don't know how to, for example, clean the table. You ask developer for that. Hey, guys, I need, in order to test that specific case, when the table is empty, I need to clean it. Can you help me with that? And somebody will help you with this. Same here, you're asking these questions because you don't know. And developers, they will just explain you that they have specific styles in their library that shrink that label to 75%. And actually, it will be mentioned over here. The scale is 0.75.
Yeah, but I just wasn't able to find it. I'm like, yeah, it looks like it. I'm like, just assumed it, you know, it's probably like provided by the browser or whatever. I'm like, okay, but kind of, yeah, I just wasn't able to find it.
Yeah, that's okay. But what needs to be done in this case? What is better? For example, in this case, let's see, we have a meeting, right? So today we meet together to discuss some project stuff. You don't have to wait till the call, till the meeting to ask people. You can simply ask in the chat whenever you were testing.
Well, I did like 2 days ago.
Yeah, but
it is in the thread, but you know, nobody answers the question.
I didn't see it. I was reading everything, but I didn't see it. So
I mean, if you go to the QA3 homework, I mean, there's my message, and I addressed the text arc. I don't know.
The third one, which is
there's a little bit different question, but I mean, nobody said anything. But I was like, okay, I just.
Yeah, look, people were asking even over here in the thread, and if nobody answers, like imagine that you are on a project, right? Nobody answers you. So what you will do? You won't be silent. You will ask again. So ask again. Do not hesitate. There are a lot of questions. A lot of people were asking questions. I was answering them. Maybe I lost your question, or I don't know, because many people were asking me to clean the table. I was just replying them as soon as possible. So whenever that happens, go ahead and ask the question. You may have another question. Ask that question again. That question as well, and so on and so on. So you can skip that test case before you get the answer, until you get the answer. But once you got the answer, just continue testing and ask another question in the chat. So chat is just communication tool for you.
I get it. That's what I did. I just skipped it basically, and I reported the other bug that I found. I mean, I was sure like to report, you know.
Yeah, that's fine. But this is a very good case to show the example that sometimes you may not know something. Hey, because how that happens, right? So a business analyst has just a vision and provides like a text description and maybe some pictures or animations. But it's up to developers how to implement it, which language to use, which approach, and how to implement that animation, right? So it's up to them. So, and you never know what will be expected actually in the code exactly. So those kind of questions should be asked developers, not business analysts, because business analysts will just say, hey, I wanted to shrink from 100% to 75, but it's up to developers. So how it's implemented, if it works, I don't care. But for you to test that it's actually 75%, you will ask that question and they will just tell you, hey, here it is, right? Here's how we implement it.
Yeah, I got it. So, and I had like, I don't know if you can tell, I mean, kind of same question. I had a question about the font family. I believe it's in some cases it just lists like more than one, and it doesn't like in styles, and I wasn't able to figure it out. I mean, do they look similar, like depending on the browser, or like sometimes, you know, there is just a list of font families for certain things?
Those questions, again, it's up to developers.
No, I mean, I'm asking you, like, if you know how to do it. I mean, if you were supposed to catch it, or just that's just in general. No, I get it, that we are just learning right now.
I would say for you, I would say just you need to ask a question. If you're not sure what to do, you ask questions. Then developers, for example, will tell you, hey, if it's listed there, that means it's fine. And then you say, okay, for the future, I will know that if it's listed, it's fine. But you did actually correctly, because you asked. If you're not sure if it works or it doesn't work, you ask question, and then you get the answer and understanding. If developers, they take that responsibility and say, hey, it should work if it's listed. And then you say, okay. And usually it's done, you ask that kind of questions that you need to save the answer. You ask those questions in bug tracking system, in that specific bug. You ask that question in the comment. The developer, when they answer the question in that bug, that is saved in history, right, of that bug. So whenever, if something happens in the future, you always have an evidence that they told you that should be expected if that's font family is listed. So for now, yeah, you can simply say it's okay. That's not a bug.
Okay, thanks.
No problem. Good. So Vlad is the same. Andrei. To get in line. Button is not located in the center of the right bottom section. Yeah, I agree. It's like a little bit misaligned. Let me make it maybe a little bit different size. Let's see how it is. What is the actually size of this section? Okay, so actually it's not. It's like located on the left. Interesting. Okay, so this is actually how this section broken up. Yeah. It's kind of incorrect. I don't see actually that somehow it's aligned in the middle. I don't see that at all. So yeah, I will accept that bug, and developers, they will need to investigate and make sure that it is actually located if you break it down to 4 sections even. Got it. Awesome. Does anybody want me to check their specific bug? Okay, let's see. Xenia. When table is empty, there is no patients getting. Oh yeah, not button. It should be a text. It should be a text. But anyways, if you just say same thing, when table is empty and there is no patients in the line, get in line to be first. Text is missing. Other than that, everything is clear. Text is missing, and in this case, I exactly understand what happens even without reading the steps to reproduce and expected result in actual, so which is okay. Table is empty, only header displayed. Table is empty and display the header in the text. And then, so the problem here, you don't have a screenshot. And would be nice if you, what I usually do, I open like two windows. On one side, I open this guy, like this. And on the left side, I open this guy. So what I do, I usually take a picture like this, side by side. So this is what I expect, and this is what I see in the application itself. I can even shift it like a little bit over here, right? And I don't see this guy over here because from your description, it's understandable, but the difference is not clear over here. Oh, we lost it over here. So the difference should be very clear. And what I mean here, you should show opposite sides of the same thing. So for example, here, you don't tell anything about header because it's not about header, it's about table body, the thing that it is below header, right? So in this case, you say when table is empty, the table body actually displays not the header actually, but the table body. Header is that gray thing on the top, but everything below is not header, is a body, table body. So the body will display this text. So this is what we see in the requirements, right? So this is the header over here, and the body, the first line displays this text. So this is what is expected. What we see here is just missing. The body is missing. So actually the good difference between actual and expected result here would be the table body is missing or empty, probably missing. The table body is missing, and here the table, you don't have to say that when table is empty because you already mentioned this here. So actually how it works, you have a summary, then you have steps to reproduce. For example, open the app, make sure that the table is empty. It's already empty. You already told that either in summary or steps to reproduce. So actually in expected, you already know that table is empty. So you just say the table body is missing in this state, and the table body displays text. The table body displays text. This is clear. So right now it's the table body is missing. Expected table body display text get in line to be first, which is okay. Alex Kurasov, I see your hand.
Hi, Arthur. So I inspected the table header, and I know that bold size is going to be 700. And can you actually inspect the table header?
Somebody write in the chat. Okay. I need this. Oh, you don't see it. There is one thing displayed from.
Okay, and then I went to compute it.
Compute it.
And then open the font weight. And as you can see, there is a bold like description or what, I don't know what is that. So yeah, and then I didn't mark as a back this header.
No. I'm sorry, that was incorrect because I didn't reload the page when I it's 500 actually. So you need to make sure that you select those cells, because see what happens if you select table row TR tag, it will be 400. If you select table head 400, table 400, what is this? So div and so on. But if you go to TH, the table cell, it's 500 for me. Are you sure that you actually selected one of those three guys?
It's a table header class.
You can inspect, you can click inspect, then you will see all these guys.
Yes.
Or maybe it will be like closed like this. So you can open the table, then you can open the T head and then TR, which is table row, and then you see TH.
Yes.
If you select one of them, I see 500. Do you see the same?
Yes, but when you open the font way, there is a bold description. Like I don't know what is that, so I didn't mark the table header as a bag. I mean,
You mean like requirements?
yes.
Okay, yeah, that's a good question actually. Yeah, it was not marked. So you will again ask if you're confused with questions like that. This is again same thing. You ask questions because what happens? You expect when you read the requirements, you not always catch such problems because you see it's bold, but you never know how it will be implemented. And some of the developers, they probably have decided bold will be 500, but as we agreed on the first meeting, 400 will be regular font, 700 will be bold font on our project. This is our style.
Okay, so if we have less than 700, it's not going to be bold size.
Agreed on.
Okay.
So our developers need to know that on our project, all the text that we mark as bold should be 700. But we discussed that in the meeting, and maybe somebody forgot. Maybe you forgot. Maybe developer forgot. That's how that bug appeared, right? Which is okay. That may happen. So
yeah, I was watching the recording and then I was a little confused. So I know the bold size is going to be 700, but I see the description is font weight is bold. So no, never mind.
Yeah, that may imagine new developer just was hired and he didn't know about that agreement, right? And just put 500 instead of 700. So that may happen. But this is a very, very good question. And this is, again, a good candidate to ask a question in the chat. Whenever you're confused or don't know something, just ask a question in the chat. Hey, I'm confused. It says bold. It's we agreed on 700, but I see 500. Is that considered a bug? I would say yes, it's considered a bug. And that's it.
Okay, thank you so much.
No problem. And Dmitry, I see you're raising your hand again as well.
Hey, Arthur. So this, if you open this test cases page, in the document test cases.
The document
with our test cases that you
bug report.
Yeah, right here. Yeah, sorry, bug report. So I was right there, yellow. You see how I did it like 1, 2, 3, and all that. Is that the proper way to do it, or is something I should avoid?
The steps to reproduce?
Yeah,
that's correct. That's absolutely correct.
That's fine.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. So let's see.
Why I'm yellow.
That's good. Doesn't display 5 patients and no ellipses in the table. You can say that the table doesn't display 5 patients and ellipses when there are 8 patients in the line and more. So if you know the bug, you can say 8 patients and more, because you know that it's not only for 8 patients, but it's for 8 and more patients, because it will be reproduced for sure for more than 8 patients. Okay. Open application, inspect table. Again, vice versa. You first of all make sure that there are 8 patients in list first, and then you inspect. Or you cannot even, you don't have to even inspect, you just take a look, because this is not something that you need to inspect. This is something that you need just to take a look at, and you will able to see that problem right away, right? The table displays all patients in the table list. Good, absolutely correct. And should display 5 patients and ellipses, then last patients in line. Very clear and understandable. Very clear. It's an example of a good bug report. Yeah, and a screenshot here as well. Awesome. This is very good. And why I marked you in yellow? Because I didn't see in the list, I believe. But
it's looking
like Angel.
It's looking arts. I don't know. I have it in my Gmail account this way. I don't know why. Looking arts, LUCAN. I'm in the middle. Right. Yeah, right there. Yeah.
This is you?
Yeah, that's me.
Okay, so let me mark you like this. Insert a note. And I will just copy your name. Got it. That's why I marked you, because this is what I was thinking about. So who is these guys? Looking art and Angel as well, just person who did something, but it was incorrect. They didn't have an access, and that person didn't contact me. So still don't have. Okay, got it. So you're done with this as well. Good.
Hey,
Thank you.
that's me. That's actually, this is Anna. I sent the first homework. I'm not sure why
Anna?
you don't have it marked as done. Yeah, the first one.
This one?
No, Angel 18.
Angel, this, so the problem with the first homework, I don't have an access to it. I click on it and I don't have an access. You didn't share it. So let me just mark it first.
Okay, I will,
Yeah, double check it.
yeah.
And do you have a, how are you still Angel in Slack?
Mm,
Let me see.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, you're still Angel. You're still Angel. So if you can rename yourself, I don't know.
Yeah, I will. Mhm.
Yeah, some like Anna and first letter of your last name. So like,
Okay.
because there are many Annas, so you will be at least with different last names. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So then, yeah, once you share it, did you report any bugs?
I was in the middle of, I just, I'll send it to you.
So I will see all the bugs. You don't have to send anything to me. Once you, so what do you need to do? You share your spreadsheet first, because I don't have an access to it. I click on it and it gives me an error, so I can show you. You didn't share it.
Okay,
And there
yeah,
is a description how to share it. So for example, if you, this is coding, I'm sorry. Sorry, guys. 1, 2. So this is, as you can see, instruction, right? So you click share, then change, then anyone with the link, comment there, and then copy the link and done. So how is it done? You click share over here. Come on. Then change anyone with the link, and then you select comment there, so I can comment, right? And that's it. And then you copy this link and send to me. This will be the link to your spreadsheet. And unfortunately, you didn't change that. So when I click on your link, it doesn't allow me to see the document because you didn't click probably this guy over here. Okay, okay. So you are in the middle of bug reporting, right?
Right.
Okay, got it. And how about the coding basics? Did you do something, or you are at least interested in?
Yes, I did. I'm also in the middle.
Okay. Yeah, just send me the link once you're done.
Will do.
No. Yeah, thank you. Awesome. Sounds great then. So, okay, so we now know who Angel is. We're good, actually. And Hannah Shakuro, I didn't see her for a long time. So I'm not sure if she's still attending this course. Okay, so we have Yelena Wilson. Okay, let's see. Oh, okay. So Alex, not sure how to spell this correctly. Rakovich. I don't see this person right now in the meeting, but Alex. Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I see. This is you.
Hi, I'm Alex.
Yeah, I didn't see. Oh no, I saw your. Okay, so here you are, and this is your homework as well. Okay, awesome. I was not able to probably find your name. That's why I marked you, but you're here. So let me just mark your homework done.
My PC was broken. I tried 4 days to reanimate him. So sorry.
It's okay. Absolutely okay. Good. Alex R. I see you here, so that's good. Table displays more than 7 patients at a time. Okay, duplicates over here, but it's okay. Yeah, I'm able to understand everything. Did you take a look at the table? Can you scroll at? Oh yeah. So I would add something, because imagine the case that I removed all the patients. And in production, right, in real worlds, when all the patients got shots and the clinic is closed, right?
Yeah,
then there
later.
0 patients, right? So what do you need to do here? You can add another step saying that make sure, open the app and make sure that there are like add, or you can even say add 8 patients to the table, 8 or 9 or whatever you want, but you need to add 8 at least, right? So you can say add 8 patients to the table and then take a look at the result. And then you say, you can say all patients are displayed and expected result, correct. Expected result actually correct. But here I would say what you exactly see, not more than 7 patients are displayed. You can see if you said 8 patients added was during to your steps reproduce creation, then you say all patients are displayed. And then expected result, only 5 patients displayed, and ellipsis, then the last one, which is 8 person. Okay, got it. So whatever disappears, if click it outside the form or not to, okay. So in this case, what you say, registration form disappears if clicked outside the form or on cancel button. So actually you just copied the requirement.
Yeah,
Actually, it's not a bug. What it says over here is actually correct expected behavior. So actually, if you wanted to, so I see many.
yeah, I just copied and forgot to text.
Change. You need to change and state the exact problem. So what is the exact problem? Let me open. Probably if you click cancel, it's closed. If you click outside, it's not closed. Yeah, it's a bug. But first of all, you need to have 2 test cases here, as we discussed in the previous lessons. You need to have a separate test case for cancel button because it's a separate functionality, right? You test it separately. You say open the table, open the form, and then click cancel. It's a 1 test case. Open form and click outside. It's a separate test case. Those are 2 separate test cases. One of them will pass, which is clicking cancel. This guy will fail. So how it can be? Let's say registration form pop-up, let's say remains open because it doesn't disappear. It remains open if clicked outside the form. That's it, because button works. Now, this is very short and understandable summary. Registration form remains open. This is the problem, right? And when it happens, if you click outside the form, absolutely understandable and clear statement. Click on the label, get in line. It's a button, you can call it button. Open the registration form, it opens, okay, and click outside the form. Actually, very good steps to produce. You can even skip this one because this guy, you need to do 2 actions, right? You will not open. You as a user need to click button and then click outside. This is you click button, form opens, but it opens on its own. You don't have to do that. So there is no step. And then you just click outside. Nothing happens, right? So this is actually, so you can even have less steps to reproduce in this case than you had. But steps to reproduce are clear and understandable. It doesn't exit the form when clicking outside. You can even skip this when clicking outside because you already said click outside. So user will click outside and then you just say what is expected. So actually what is happening doesn't exit the form, right? Okay, let it be like this. I would say the form remains open, as I said over here, remains open like this, but doesn't exit the form is okay as well. The pop-up remains open, and what is expected? Pop-up disappears. And you don't have to say again if clicked outside because you already said click outside. And once you click, you just say what happens after that. It remains open, but you expect it disappears. That's it. This is very short, tiny, clean bug. Okay. But anyways, that's very good. That's a very good result, guys, for the first time. This is because this is the first time. Okay. So in general, actually, label shrinks. Yelena, so question for you. What is the problem here? I don't get it. So this is the first thing, right? So I'm not sure what happens here, and I should be able to get this just from reading the summary here. So DOB label shrinks. What it means, shrinks. It should shrinks. It should actually, it's already shrinked right? As mentioned in the requirements, it's already in that state. Let me see, date of birth, label, change aside 75. Yeah, it's already in that size because we have value actually already. Current highlighted by default, date, drop down, arrows clicking. Placeholder, because placeholder is there. So actually label is already in 75%. So let me check. Is there something? There is something. Yeah, scale over here, 75%. But anyways, it's already there, but I'm not sure what's wrong here. Elena, are you here? Let me see. Yeah, I see you in the list. So shrinks. So what is the problem here? I see label does not change size to 75. Actually, it's already in this size. It's already in this state. It's confusing, but that would be a great question in the chat if you're not sure. Because it's, oh, maybe somebody testing in the chat. Yes, I didn't have make right now. Okay, yeah, it's supposed to change, but the problem here, developers added placeholder. If you remove placeholder, I believe it will change. So the functionality is there, but the problem is with the input field because it has a placeholder. Class, type, let's say text, for example. I don't see this guy change. Now that date shrink through. Okay. I believe developers prevented that. No. Interesting. Anyways, I don't have any problems with that. So if you even ask me in the chat saying that, hey, Arthur, it doesn't shrink, I would say probably it's okay. This is what we expect because we see the placeholder. It looks the same as on the screenshot because we have a placeholder. So it would be strange when there is one placeholder in the field and overlapped, right? One text over another in the same place. So it would be very strange. So it looks right now the same as in design. So I would just skip it. It's okay. It's not a bug. Okay. But again, you need to have better summary. Label doesn't change size. This is what you actually can say. Label doesn't change size, 75%, like this. If there was a real bug, you would say on input. So whenever there is an input, label, DOB, which label? DOB, date of birth. Label, DOB, label doesn't change size to 75% on input. This is awesome. This is absolutely understandable and clear just from reading the requirements. Okay, so too many rows in the table. Okay, open the app, look at the number, and would be nice if you also put the numbers to these tabs, would be great. Open the app, look at the number of rows in the table. So in this case, same thing as we discussed with, who was that? With Alex. It's never more than 7 patients, right? That number changes, depends on how patients leave the line. Once they got the shot, they just getting removed from that line. And that's why it's never 7 or more than 7 patients. You need to state that you need to add or make sure that there are more than 7 patients, or say 8 and more patients in the table. So it would be probably something like open the app, make sure there are 8 or more patients in the table, and take a look on the number of the rows in the table. That would be great, which is correct. And then you say what happens actually, what you expect. You expect tables should display 5 patients, ellipses, and the last patient, right? And then I see all patients. That would be the actual result. Okay. So in general, bugs are not bad. Even with this, it's still a pretty normal bug, but you can do better. You can make summary to answer at least few questions, where, what, and when happened, right? And make sure that you actually have a clear difference between the actual and expected result. I understand that sometimes people that know English pretty well, but you don't have to. You try to have it long and complicated over here. But instead, what I'm suggesting you, keep it simple. You say, what is actually not expected? In this case, you see all patients in the table, all of them, like 30, 100 patients, you see all of them. That's the problem. So you can say, all patients displayed. That's it, 3 words, and that's very good actual result. And then expected result, 5 patients displayed, ellipsis, and the last patient in the table. And that's it. And you can even copy paste that from requirements. Okay, Christina, Arthur, did you get my homework for this one?
Yes.
No, I see your here, but I'm not sure if I had your, no, I had your here as well. Okay, I had your homework here as well. Yes, so actually I got yours as well. Let me just mark you as done as well. Single line, that's empty. Table, the empty table has the header only. Okay, that's pretty good. But when? The empty table, okay, the empty table, got it. So the empty table, when there are no patients, has the header only. Got it, nice. Sounds good. Open the app, take a look at the table. You need to say something about how to make it empty. Like open the app, you open the app, but maybe there are patients. For example, imagine developer is trying to reproduce this bug. Opens the app and there are patients. And then you say, take a look at the table area. Developer takes a look. And then you say empty table has a header only, but developer sees actually the patients over here. Just open the app and there are patients there, at least one right now, right? So, and developer will be confused because developer cannot reproduce your bug. So what you need to say, make sure that there are no patients in the line, or remove all patients from the line, or open the app when table is empty and there are no patients in the line, right? Then it's very clear what happens, right? And then empty table has header only, empty table has the header and text. Oh, nice. So the actual expected result is very clear. What you need to add is that you are looking for the case when the table has no patients. Because what I can think as a developer, that it doesn't display the body all the time, even when there are patients, right? So developer may be confused that it's not displayed all the times. But in this specific case, it's not displayed when there are no patients. So that would be nice. So empty table is confusing. Would be better to say table has the header only when there are no patients in line, something like that. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. And Stanislav just joined us. So Stanislav is Slava or who? Or that's a different person? Stanislav. Do I have you in my list? Slava, oh, no. Yeah, over here, you're done with the homework. I checked your bugs, I checked your homework as well. Okay, got it. So whom else I can see? Date of birth field is 12/12/22. Open site. So you entered incorrect date and it was submitted, right? And you click submit. So let me try to do that. But I can say right away 12/12/00/12 like this and submit. Oh, it's and it was added, which is okay. I believe we mentioned in here that there are no, or maybe I was just answering the question and I didn't list this here to data field. Yeah, there is no actually validation. So we are not storing that date of birth anywhere. So actually there is no validation for this field at all. So it requires to add everything at least, but there is no validation, right? I can even enter this weird number. And we actually rely on patient in this case. And this is one case. So we don't have validation in that field because it's not required for us according to requirements for now. And the second problem is, so you need to understand that you cannot develop the application as huge as Facebook, for example, in one cycle, in 2 weeks, for example, right? It takes time. So what happens, you always develop a limited functionality. So sometimes you develop a button that leads to an empty page because that page will be developed later in the next cycle, right? And so on. So that can be like that. And you just leave a text coming soon or something like that. So your users, when they click this button, they see that that functionality is not available, but coming soon. But you need to understand that sometimes we may deliver something without validation, because validation for this field is complex and will be developed in the next cycle, not in this cycle. In this cycle, we will deliver this functionality without validation to customers, and customers we will rely on them. So they enter correct date of birth. Even if they don't enter correct date of birth, that's not a problem because we don't use it anywhere. We don't use it to create ID. We don't use it for anything. We just use it as unique identifier on the backend. For example, if there are patients with the same name, right? So they at least have different birthday, and in our database, we store them differently as two different people, right? Not the same person. So that's the only reason we use date of birth. But even if person makes a mistake, it will be unique value anyways. So our system will not be broken. That's why we don't have validation. And it is okay, at least for this cycle, because we don't have specific requirements for this field. And but if you're confused, again, just ask questions. And the business analyst in this case will just say, hey, we are not developing validation in this cycle, in this sprint. It will be developed in the future. So that's what usually happens. Okay.
Thank you for explaining.
Okay, guys, and let me quickly maybe check a few more people. And Nikita, if the table is empty, it has only header and text. Oh, there are. So when the table is empty, it only has header and text, but this text is not part of the table, Anna. This text is a separate element, right? So you don't have to mention it here. So would be better. So if you're testing table, actually, the nice summary in this case would be the table, if the table is empty, but again, table is empty is something like confusing. Better say when there are no patients in line, then table has only header, and that's it, like this, when there are no patients in line.
Okay, I got it.
Because it will be very clear for a developer or anybody else when there are no patients. That means like this is your case, because when table is empty, but what do you mean like empty, right? It's empty because it's a bug or what? It's a little bit more confusing.
Confused. Okay, okay, got it. Yeah, I agree with you.
It only has header. Now, absolutely clear. As for me, I don't know how about you guys, but for me, it's very clear even from reading this. Open the table, clean the table, take a look at the empty table. Again, this text is not part of the table, so it's incorrect actual result. What you say, table has only header. That would be actual result about header, because this text doesn't belong to table at all. This is a separate element, right? This is the separate element displayed in this corner. So this guy is a separate element. So if you talk about table, it should be header plus that line that displays a text. That's what you expect, right? Over here, where is that? Over here. So you just think, you just need to describe this table. So that's why you say 2. Oh man, only header displayed, and in this case, you don't have to say table is empty because you already stated this here. You just say whatever you expect. table has the header. Table has the header and the text get in line to be first. This is what you expect. Let me do this. Okay, so I see everything. Okay. And table header includes ID column. Open the app, look at the table, ID column. So this is not the problem. So you say table header includes ID column. So how I understand this as a developer, you're saying that it shouldn't have that column. So what do you mean? Like for me, this column should be missing, which is incorrect. It should be there. If you would like to describe this, I would just say like this. I would just tell you ID is shown or displayed instead of ID in the table header. So this is the problem, right? So ID, this is the problem, is shown instead of this. This is the problem. And where in the table header? You answer two questions. Because when, always. The answer is always. So you're answering two questions here. What happened and where happened, which is ID shown instead of ID in the table header. Very clear, even without reading this, all of this, right? Is it clear for you, Anna?
Yes, it is clear. Thank you.
Yeah, so you don't have to. A lot of mistakes, junior testers do. They try to explain everything in very complex words, but sometimes the easier and the simplest statement is the best. So what you need to say, you can just describe the problem in a simple words. So what is your problem? Your problem is that ID is displayed. But what do you expect? ID, so you say ID is displayed instead of ID in uppercase. And where? The table header. And it becomes very clear, right? Okay. Missing text in the table. Open the app and view the table. So same problem is Jana, but you need to make sure you need to say when it's displayed. So missing text on the table, right? But when there are no patients, right? So again, remember for the summary, you always need to try to answer those three questions, 3W. What happened, where happened, and when happens, right? So for example, missing text on the table. Okay, that may be an answer for the question, what happened? But when it happens all the times, now it's not all the times. It only when there are no patients. So you need to say that. If there is an answer, when it happens specifically, you need to state that because it should be clear for a developer, because developer will open the app and there is a text and it will be confused. So you need to say missing text in the table when there are no patients in the table. Open the app again, you say make sure there are no patients, and then you say header. Okay, it can be even simpler. The text is missing. The text is present. And which text, right? The text get in line to be first is missing. The text get in line to be first is present. Actually, that's the very clear difference. You don't have to even say header is visible, but there are no text. It's a very long sentence. You can even be shorter, saying that the text get in line to be first, missing. The text get in line to be first, present. And then a screenshot, and you can even send another attachment, second attachment with expected result. So pretty simple. Okay. So in general, you did good. Yellow say the registration form pop-up remains open and clicked outside the form. Okay, I will check the rest of you guys because I didn't mark everybody because before the lesson I see that more bugs appeared right now, almost 100, maybe even more right now. Let me reload the page. Yeah, 99 bugs, but I didn't mark because I started marking you with the homework when it was probably like 75 or something. So I still maybe didn't mark somebody as done, and some people are behind the schedule and will be sending the homework later, which is okay. Just send it whenever you're ready. And whenever you have, just let me know that you're done with bug reporting, and I will go to my table and check that there are your bugs here, and I will just add your homework, mark it as done. Okay, so we're done with this homework, and our today's topic is test automation. Before we start, I would like to ask if you have any questions. Yes, Anna.
Yes, I think you didn't mark me.
Really? Did you complete the homework?
I complete.
Thank you. Yeah, okay, good. Lower hand. Well, thank you for lowering hand. Yeah, so first of all, any questions about the bug reporting, about anything else we did before? Okay, next questions. You can answer actually in the chat as well. Do you guys want to make like 5 minutes break to make some tea or get a water or go to the restroom before we start with test automation?
Yes, okay.
Yes,
Okay.
please.
So we'll see you in 5 minutes. Let's meet again at 8:06, and please be here so we can start with test automation together. Okay, see you in 5 minutes, guys. Let me also stop the recording. I'm so sorry, guys, I was late. Okay, so let me switch to automation. And not sure if you all installed the prerequisites. I was asking you at the very beginning to install the prerequisites in the chat. The first pinned message was, hey, everyone, the list of prerequisites for the course. And some of you marked them as checked. So pretty much probably you already installed them. But if you didn't install the prerequisites, you just won't be able to follow me today. Whoever installed the prerequisites, I will suggest you to follow me today so you can install everything that we will do and actually play with it and run your test automation on your own machine starting today. So you will be able to follow me and do the same as I do today. So, okay. So first of all, I will share you this link to the GitHub repo. This is the repo that you open, and it has the instruction how to install everything and how to run the first test. This is my repo on my account. I created this description, I created this, all of this, and I will send this link to the chat here in Zoom and to the Slack chat, and you will be able to open. And why I'm sharing this, because you will be able to copy and paste the pieces of code without need of typing, right? So just open it here, or let me also paste it to Zoom chat as well. And in Zoom chat as well. So when you open, just scroll down till the preparation, right? And since I don't know your speed, what may happen, I may be too fast for you. So whoever is following me today and will be doing the same as I do, and you feel that you're falling behind, just let me know, just stop me. If you have some error message, they say, hey, Arthur, I have an error message, because this is how we usually do during the regular lessons on the main course. You always should feel free to stop me so I can help you, because what happens, just to logically explain you what happens usually. Let's say you're falling behind, and then you don't tell me anything. And then at the end of the lesson, everybody leaves, and you tell me, hey, I stuck on that first step. And then I have to spend 2 more hours with you to help you, which is absolutely terrible for me, right? So whenever you stop me, I spend additional minute with you, but it will save me hours at the end. So please, if you're falling behind, you get error message or something else, let me know so we can fix it right away and don't spend time later, okay? Agreed? You still have a chat or voice to tell me.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you guys. And let's get started. So actually, it will be pretty simple. So this is the framework that I'm using on my project. So there are actually 2 popular frameworks in JavaScript. The most popular framework is Cypress. It's very easy. framework to install. The installation is pretty simple, but we teach WebDriver IO first and then only Cypress after it, because WebDriver IO is more complex. And if you know WebDriver IO, then you easily can learn Cypress, because Cypress is easier. Cypress is more popular, but it's not so advanced at WebDriver IO. WebDriver IO is like more advanced framework that allows you to do more stuff, has a lot of different tools to test anything, test mobile devices, test backend, do API testing, front end, and so on. Iframes, different tabs, and play with them, and so on. Very powerful tool, but it's complex. It requires more knowledge than Cypress. Cypress is simpler, and it's able of testing like simple web applications, and you can simply pick it up once you know WebDriver. So that's why we took this approach. We learn WebDriver first and then give Cypress after that, because Cypress after WebDriver will be like this for you. Yes, Jana.
What framework is?
This is WebDriver.
No, what is framework? I don't
A
understand.
framework is like, it's different tools that you like take together, and they do a single they have a single purpose. For example, framework is not a single tool that you use. There is a part of this framework that is used just to run the test. The second part creates a test report. So actually whoever developed this WebDriver framework, they took different tools, brought them together, made them work together. And once this is a single tool that consists of many other tools, it's called framework, right? Because it's capable of doing everything. Actually, it's a complete test automation framework that's capable of like creating your test cases, then running your test cases, then generating reports and doing a lot of other stuff. So that's called framework, right? So initially, you will be able to understand it more once you learn it, because you will see that, okay, this tool we use for this, and this tool we use for this, and this tool we use for this. But for now, what you need to understand that this is when you take a lot of other tools, smaller tools, combine them together into bigger tool that has a single purpose. For example, Mocha which is a test runner. It's a specific syntaxes that you use to define, hey, this is a test case, this is a test suite, and so on. So you use that syntaxes for everything, not only for automation testing. It's used also for unit testing, that's used in web development or just development, right? So it's used for development as well, for defining the test cases. It was existing long before the test automation was, this test automation framework was created. So developers of that tool, they took Mocha as a test runner, then they took different reporters as a part. They took Selenium to communicate with browsers, added to this, then took some additional configuration. They added something else, a lot of other tools, added everything together, made it work together. And then they released, hey, we have this framework that we created from other tools. And now by installing the whole framework, you can easily do test automation from day one. So that's called framework, when you take different tools, combine them together, and create like a bigger thing that solves some problems. For example, test automation, you need to do test automation. So somebody created WebDriver, which is the test automation framework. Different tools combined together, which you can use to do test automation.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, so first of all, create a folder where you will be storing test automation projects. So what I have on my computer. So on my computer, I have just specific projects folder. You may create projects folder on your desktop. You may create projects folder in documents, whenever you want. I created it on just in my computer when I have on the same level in my user, right? In my user, I have documents, application, pictures, and so on. It doesn't matter if you are on Windows or Mac, you will be able to use it to create anywhere, but you need just to remember this location. If you created this project on desktop, then go ahead and create it on desktop and then call it projects. So this folder is just used to store all your projects. It will be automation will be stored here. JavaScript will be stored here. If you do front end, it will be stored here. As you can see, I have many projects in my folder, just a general folder to store projects. Okay. And then in that folder projects, create another folder. I will create new folder and call it, I don't know, free course automation. Don't use spaces. Try in development. Try to not use spaces, not to use like special characters instead of like that. You can still use dashes. You can still use like dots. But this is my recommendation for you. Whenever you create a folder for your test automation project right now, use lowercase and dashes instead of spaces. This is my recommendation right now. You will avoid a lot of problems in the future. So again, create projects folder anywhere, on desktop, in documents, whenever you want. Whatever you want, create projects folder, and then inside projects folder, create your free automation course, free course automation folder, or any, you can call it differently, but just call it whatever you want, but just don't use spaces, use dashes instead of spaces, and use lowercase. Okay, give you like 10 more seconds to do that. But if you still have some troubles with even creating folder, just let me know so I can wait you or help you with your problem. Okay. Then one of our prerequisites was VS Code. So open VS Code. It should open like this. VS Code. And then whenever you open VS Code, then go to File and Open Folder. And you need to open folder, then go to your projects folder where you store it. I don't know where you store it, but go to that place, desktop or to documents, whatever you created that projects folder. In my case, it's just here, projects. Then select this folder, just select it, do not double click, just go back, just select it and then click open. So you need to create that free course automation folder, then select it and then click open. So expected result would be when it's open, you see the name of your folder over here. That's expected result. That means you did everything correctly. If you see projects over here, then you open the projects folder. If you see anything else, you open the different folder. If you opened your correct, it will be here. Yes.
When I opened the VS Code, there was my test cases. I don't know why. So I didn't follow you. Can you explain what we should do?
Yeah, let me stop sharing and you can share your screen and then we will just solve it on your screen. Just click share screen and then yeah, share your screen and we'll just solve it. This is how we usually do. You share your screen and then I can even get control. Yeah, that's okay. This is the VS Code. So you click File, Open Folder. And then, yeah, projects open. And no, you don't have, you need to create a folder here as well for this specific project. So projects, it's like a general folder for all the projects. Yeah. Yeah, and this is a project for test automation. So call it automation, for example, or test-automation. So it's up to you. The name is up to you fully. And select it and then select folder. No. Select, yeah, like this. Yeah, I trust the authors. This is your folder. Yeah, so actually everything is correct now. Yeah. So okay. You have out on the left.
So pause the sharing.
Yeah, I will stop your sharing.
Okay.
And start mine.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. That was good. Okay, anybody else having problems? Okay, dokie. So the next step, let me open my next step. Next step will be open terminal. Okay, this is we need to open terminal to be able to run some scripts that we need to run. So let's go back to VS Code. You go to terminal and click new terminal. Okay, so for Mac users, default terminal should be ZSH. This is default terminal and it's okay. For Windows users, whoever has a Windows, we will need to change something with you. Who has a Windows and would like to share the screen? Because we will need to change something. Let me see if I have it in the prerequisites.
Me, I have Windows.
Windows. Okay, VS Code. I'm not sure if you have Windows. Can you show me to Elvira? Stop share. Can you share the screen?
Oh yes, just a second.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh.
And then you just select the desktop. Or, yeah.
Oh.
Okay. Actually, so you have PowerShell. Can you click? Let me turn on my annotations so I can draw something. Can you click on PowerShell over here?
Where is it?
I'm drawing in your screen. You see my lines over here?
Ah, okay.
Now PowerShell in the circle over here.
Oh, for some reason, sorry, I have that. All right. Participants. Yeah, I see it now.
Okay. And not like this. Click plus, please. Not the one. Plus.
Plus, all right.
Again, not the one we needed. Can you click this little arrow? Okay, and then select default profile. So you have PowerShell and command prompt. Okay, so let it be PowerShell for now. Let's see if it works for us. Okay. So what you need to do now, can you open the instruction that I sent to you? The link that I sent to you with the instruction. So let's see if it works for you. So the next command, once you open terminal, and the next command that we need to run is npm init-y. Do you see that command? You can just copy it and paste. Number two.
This one, is it this one, right?
Yeah, you can, if you hover over the right part over here, you will see the copy icon. Let me just clear this. Can you hover mouse over here?
All right.
And you will just copy the commands. So you can copy any of the commands over by clicking over here. So then go back to your VS Code and then just paste this here.
Okay.
And click enter. Okay, so this command, what this command does, this command is just used to initialize our project, to tell our system, hey, this is Node.js, which is JavaScript project. And now our system knows that this is JavaScript project. That's why it says init. It's short from initialize. NPM, it's a Node package manager, initialize. So that's, you don't have to know it right now, but I'm just explaining what we're doing. This command just initializes the project. So our system knows that this is not just a simple folder, it's a project. Will be Node.js, which is JavaScript project. Okay, so now let me start sharing my screen.
Thank you.
Welcome, no problem. Seems like it works in PowerShell as well. That's why probably I didn't mention Git over here, because on the main course, we switched to Git bash as a terminal, but I believe everything else should work for you right now. So we wouldn't have to switch to Git bash right now, and it should work in PowerShell. Okay, let me do this as well, because I didn't have it. npm init, and it will just create a package.json file, which is showing our system that this is Node.js project. So this is expected result of this command. It will just generate that file, package.json. Okay, so next command that we will do is this. So this command actually installs the WebDriver.io. WebDriver.io. CLI is command line interface. So actually this command just installs the module that we need to work with WebDriver.io. And that's it. This is the command. It installs this from the internet, actually. Whenever you run command npm, so there is a website at npmjs.com. So this is the website that has all the modules that JavaScript has. And I believe there is more than 1 million modules right now. What is a module? Module, if it's something that somebody created that can be reused, like a function. Remember functions? You create a function to reuse it. But module is like a function, but a big one. For example, module that allows you to send messages, SMS messages, right? For example, you would like to have an automation framework that will run the test, and when it fails, it sends you a message. So there is a complex logic, what to do, what provider to use to send you a message and all of that. So some developers, they create that complex logic, wrap it in a single module and say, hey, you can install it and just use it. And that's it. WebDriver.io works the same. So those developers created a complex logic, wrap it in a one module and installed it. And saved it over here. And it's all open source. It's all free. You can install those modules and start using them, like working with emails, sending SMS messages, Google Maps, all of that. So as a developers, because automation engineers are developers, you also just take different modules and then combine them. You never like code something from scratch, because there are already modules created for all of the purposes. For example, you would like to display location in your application and using Google Maps API. The modules are already there. I can even probably Google Maps. Yeah, as you can see, there is a lot of modules, not even one. There are a lot of modules that can be used, and they have just instructions how to use them, right? You just need to know, okay, this is how to use them, how to install them, how to then import them into your application. And this is how use some parameters to open specific location or something like that, right? And zoom and counter and so on. So actually, they have just modules already created, and WebDriver is such module. So we just need to install it by using this command. You use command npm install and then the module name. And the module name comes from here, again, from the same website that I just showed you. So this is the module name. And this is the command to install it. npm I, this is shortened from install, and then the name of the module. So WebDriver.io CLI is also the module that we need to install. This is what this command means. We're just installing WebDriver.io from that website, from the module repository. Oh man, I lost my document. Okay, npm install, or just click this icon. It will be easier. Click it and then just paste it into VS Code terminal and click enter. And let me know if something happens to you, something doesn't
Sorry,
install.
I lost mind on the previous step.
The previous step, you just run the command and that's it. So what is your problem, Anna?
This one.
Yeah, the previous one, just copy, paste, and click enter. It just initializes the project.
Okay.
Tells our system that this is the project. And then the second one installs the module. Installs the module WebDriver.io CLI. This is the module that we will need to use for WebDriver. Did you do this? Everything works? Everything was installed? Okay, but remember, if you're missing something, just let me know. So what we did we just installed the module. As you can see, there is a node modules folder appeared because we already have modules. And not only that module installed, but many more, because that module that we just installed requires more modules in order to work. So as you can see, we have a lot more modules already installed in the node modules folder. So node modules folder is just the folder that will be storing our modules, and it happens automatically because whenever you install something, it getting installed into Node modules. And then in package.json, which was created in the first step, just stores the information about the modules that we install. And that's it. So this is what we do right now. But again, we just ran two commands. The first command to initialize our project, just tell our system, hey, this is the project, not the simple folder. And then the second command to install WebDriver CLI from that repository of modules on npm.js. This is the whole repository, all the modules installed from here. Okay, and then we need to do initial configuration of our framework. So what that means, WebDriver supports a lot of different things, right? So if, for example, if you're testing mobile devices, your configuration will be different. If you're testing multiple browsers, your configuration will be different. If you're testing backend, doing performance testing, doing API testing, your configuration will be absolutely different. In our case, we'll be just using Chrome browser to demonstrate everything. So we don't need to anything else. So we will be using Chrome driver. For example, you can use Selenium to test in multiple browsers. But since we will be using only Chrome today, we need to install Chrome driver. So since WebDriver.io supports a lot of stuff, you need to do initial configuration. Tell how you're going to use your WebDriver.io. So WebDriver.io knows what to install in order to not install everything. You will just install whatever you need to keep your framework simple and small. So that's why there is an initial configuration step, and we need just to tell our system that how we're going to use WebDriver, which modules, because WebDriver will install all of them. Yes, Elvira?
Excuse me, I just wanted to make sure if mine is installed correctly, because I had some like warn signs or whatever. Can I share my screen once again? All right, thank you.
Not my sharing. Usually warnings are okay. Errors are problems, but warnings are okay. They don't break anything. Yeah. That's okay. It just tells you that free course automation, no description, no repository field. As you can see, the file in front of you, package.json, is open. You see it? It's open in front of you. It's open. You see the text in front of you, not this one, the bottom one. Yeah, this one. You see the text in front of you over here. This is the package.json. It's open over here, right? You see it.
Yes, I see.
Yeah. So and this is the fault. It just says that, hey, description is empty, right? And there is no repository field. There is no repository keys. So that's just warning, because they may say, hey, you probably may require it, but you don't have it, and that's fine. Warning is not a problem.
All right, I got it. Thank you.
Okay, let me stop your screen. Share mine again. So guys, let's copy the third command and do initial configuration. Please do not click anything until I tell you, because you will mess everything up. So just click this command first, npx wdo config, and do not select anything on your own. Just wait for me. Okay, overhand. Just copy, paste, npx wdo config, and click enter. So this is just asking you questions, and you by answering them will be just configuring your framework. So first of all, I can navigate through the options by using arrows on my keyboard, up and down, right? So first, what we need to select, as you can see, according to the guide, on my local machine. This is what we need to select here on my local machine. So it should be default option. So you just click enter when this happens, enter, and it should select this option. Then it will ask you a question, which framework do you want to use? And again, Mocha is the framework, means like the test runner. The syntaxes that we will need to use to define, hey, this is a test suite. So we use Mocha. This is the most popular, the test runner. So we'll be using it. So just select it again by clicking enter, because it's selected by default. Do you want to use a compiler? In this case, we need to use yes. We will select Babel. So make sure you select Babel and then click enter when you selected Babel. What is Babel? So by default, Node.js and JavaScript work in old syntaxes. Why? Because many of the websites in the internet they are written in the old syntaxes. So for example, if you introduce a new syntaxes today and say everything old stops working, so everything that was created before today will stop working. So all the websites that were created before will be not working. So why? So for JavaScript, actually, it works by default with the old syntaxes, but to make sure that everything else that was created is working. But in order to use a new syntaxes, you need to use a compiler that will take your new syntaxes, compile it in the old code, and then run old code. So again, remember, by default, JavaScript syntaxes using not word, for example, let for variable, but using var, the old syntaxes, because if some old websites are using var, it stopped working. If you say, hey, today JavaScript only accepting let. So just unique case for JavaScript, it's by default works in old syntaxes, but in order to write everything in new syntaxes, you need to have compilers. So that's why we select Babel as a compiler. Click enter. Where are the text specs located? Do not click anything because you need to copy. You need to copy from here. It should be dot slash test slash star.js. This is just the location of our tests, where they will be located. Yes, Vlad. Yeah, I see your
Can I share my screen? I think maybe I missed a step.
Yeah, share your screen.
I guess my results are a little different. 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where I am. This is the results I got when I run this command.
Yeah, actually, you're correct. You're right, but you need to select on my local machine. This is the first option, the first question. You didn't
Again,
answer.
do I just enter it? I mean, hit enter?
Enter. Yeah, and
oh,
then
okay.
the second Mocha. Here we see Mocha. The third answer is Babel. Babel. And for this one, you need to go to the that instruction, copy from there and paste.
Okay.
That instruction has the location. Then you paste it over here. Do you have it?
This is it. So which one do I choose?
The link that I sent in Slack and Zoom with instructions for how to install this framework. The one you were copying commands from, where you copy the command, install WebDriver CLI and so on. I don't see, you're sharing probably your VS Code because I don't see anything on your screen except VS Code. And probably when you...
Okay. Let me share the whole thing. Yeah. 1 second.
Yeah, you need to select the desktop, not the window, because you will be selecting just only VS Code. Right now, I just see your VS Code. You need to stop sharing and then click again.
So
now I see something. Yeah. So copy the type, the test.js.
This one.
Yeah, this is what you. So step by step. And
enter.
And enter. And then I will continue. Don't do anything here.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So then, yeah, that's actually, I will probably do like this, side by side. So we can just copy paste. And I will close this. So I just have my terminal and yeah. So now it's asking us, do you want WebDriver to auto-generate some test files? No, the answer should be no. Just type N and click enter because we will create our own test files. Just click N and enter. So as you can see, type N. The next, it says select spec. Spec is already selected. So what you need to do is just click enter. Oh, wrong page to click enter. Okay, here we don't need anything to install. So just click enter without selecting anything. Do I have Alt? Yeah, don't select anything, just press Enter. And then select Chrome driver. It's already selected by default, so just click Enter. Base URL, copy from here. This is our base URL. This is the application we were manually testing. Right now, we'll be testing that by automation. And then click Enter. And then, do you want to run npm install? The answer is yes. So it will install all the modules that we need automatically. So that command npm install that we were running manually and saying, hey, install this module. So this command will install everything we selected over here, right? So you just click yes and enter, and it will start installing everything that it needs. Okay, sounds great. And as you can see, it says configuration file was created successfully. To run your test, execute this command, but we don't have test files yet. So we need to scroll down. And again, if you're falling behind, something didn't work for you, let me know. Yes, Vlad, did you want to say something?
I think so. I'm kind of work on two screens. And kind of, I think I skipped a step.
Do you want to share the screen?
Yes, one second.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Let's do that.
So
no, just click it.
So on spec, right? So
if you follow, just make this window smaller so you see them side by side. You see this this window and your instructions side by side. You will be able to understand. Just follow step by step, and that's it. There is nothing to do.
Okay.
So open, I don't see. Yeah. So as you can see, the previous that you selected, you use spec, right?
Mm-hmm.
Spec. What is the next point says in the document?
Enter.
Don't
so
select
I did.
Just press enter. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I did, and that's what I got. So
You didn't
right here.
Yeah, you didn't. You clicked enter for spec. Now here in this step, you didn't do anything. You just click enter in this step.
So just hit enter. Okay.
Yeah. And in this case, you already have Chrome driver selected. So just click enter. You see Chrome driver is selected over here. Yeah. Here you need to copy and paste this guy and paste it and then click enter. Click enter. And here your answer is yes.
I do white. Okay.
That's it.
Okay. Okay.
So what we're doing right now, we are just did our initial configuration. And you do this once. You never, so this item done only when you install the framework. In the case, if you, for example, join the company and you are the first QA there, and they tell you that you need to create the framework. So you do this thing once. Why I have this actually document, because I don't remember how to do it exactly. I need to have some guide, step by step, what to do, what to select, right? Because you cannot just remember those commands. Why? Because you are not using them daily. You use these commands only once when you install the framework, and then you just code. Everything else that you do, you just code without installing it, because the framework is getting installed once. That's why you just need to save this instruction, and you will do this once whenever you start your framework. So if you don't understand something, what happens, don't worry about that at all, because you will never do this. Either you will join the company that already has the framework, or even you join the company and they don't have a framework and you need to install it from scratch. You just follow the guide. This is what I did 3 times so far. So I joined my last companies. They didn't have a framework, so I was installing them from scratch, and I was always following the guide, because this is what you do step by step. Then you install the framework, and then you start coding. Once you have the framework, you have first tests, and you just start expanding them, adding more tests, and so on. So this initial configuration is only done once when you just start your project. Once you start it, you just code and then add more tests, and that's it. Everything else remains the same. That's why there is no reason for you to remember all those commands, because you will be using them maybe once or maybe just a few times per your career. So it makes sense just to save this information, save this link, and then just use it whenever you need to install the framework from scratch. But in most of the cases, you will join existing project and this will be already done. You will be just coding using JavaScript. Okay, so we waited till the end of the installation. And now actually we have our framework ready. What we need to do, we need to create a test folder and test files there that will be writing our tests in. So as you can see, the step number 4 says create test folder. So what you need to do, you click over here in empty space.
We can see.
You can see, oh man. How about right now?
Fine.
Yeah, you click over here in empty space, right click and new folder. And you name it test. Test. Right, so you have a test folder, and inside we need to create test.js file. So you right click on this folder and then new file. And then you say test.js. Expected result that you should see test. When you close it, test.js disappears because it means that it's inside the folder. So this is your expected result. And that's exactly what we were mentioning here. So our test will be in test folder. So you should see the test folder on the same level as node modules. And then test.js is a little bit shifted to the right as in your code in JavaScript, right? Showing that it's inside. And then if you close it, it disappears. Open it, it appears. So this is expected result. When you did everything correctly, that's the expected result. Because you may create them on the same level. For example, let me move the test.js. Right now I'm opening and closing, nothing happens, right? Because they are in the same folder. But what should be test.js should be inside test folder, like this.
I have a different result. It's in one line, test and test.js.
Show me your screen.
Okay.
In order to create it inside, you need to do a right click on the test folder and then, yeah, show me. No, that's fine. That's expected actually. This is sometimes VS Code displays a single file like an address, right? Test.js. But once you enter another file to that folder, it will display 2 files, like in my case.
Oh,
I believe I just have some additional tool installed for VS Code that adds those icons, and something like that. Probably some additional library installed for my VS Code. That's why it's displayed differently, but yeah. But in your case, it's correct. It shows by / that it's inside the test folder, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And then what we need to do, you click on this file. It will be open over here as empty.
Sorry, how to create test again? The folder.
The folder, you click on empty space, a new folder. That's how you create a folder.
Okay,
then once you have a folder, you do a right click on it and new file. And then you create the new file inside of it. In order to create inside, you click on it and then new file. Does that answer your question, Jana?
Yes, thank you.
Good. Awesome. And then once you have this, you click on this file and it will be open over here. So what is actually VS Code, just to explain it? VS Code is just a good graphic user interface for you to code. This is created for developers, right? And you can do the same. You can actually open your folders on the left like this, right? You can open this file, free course animation, in some text editor. Let me do some text edit app over here, right? And you can open terminal as well. Let me do terminal like this. No, English. Hey, where's my? like this, terminal app. So you can do everything like this, and it will be the same. You will be able to do the same thing. Terminal will be over here. Let me open this, and let me open this. So actually, you will have the same thing. The only difference will be that it works together in VS Code. It formats everything automatically because Notepad doesn't format your test files. You will have to format them manually, like adding spaces, shifting all the files, right? And VS Code will format everything for you. It will be automatically formatted for you. So that's advantage. And everything is built into one thing, right? So that's what makes it better. But what it shows just your folder, free course automation, in my case, what is inside, all the folder structure and file structure. And I can open my files over here, like in browsers, like in tabs, different files. I can see the package.json, I can test JSON as tabs and code something here, right? Code something here. And VS Code will be formatting everything for me automatically and so on. So before we start with the test.js, I would like you to do a few more things to have a better experience with VS Code. So what I would do is if you click File and do autosave. What that means, if you do something in your file, it won't be saved automatically. It will show this round over here, right? You see it, right? So that means your file is not saved. So you need to click File, Save, and only then it will be saved, right? So that's boring. So if you do autosave, it will be autosaving your changes. So whenever you do a change, it will be autosaved, and you don't have to click and make the changes. Yes, Jana?
Sorry, I couldn't create the test.js. Can you help me, please?
Yeah. Again, follow me. I will remove this one and do this for you again. Do you see my screen now?
Yes.
Do you have a test folder?
Yes.
So you do. Is it on the same level as node modules?
Wait. No, my test is yes, it's the same.
Yeah, and then you do a right click on this and then new file. And something empty appears. Then you test.js.
Sorry. I created new folder, sorry.
Is that okay? Were you able to create a file?
Yes, I did. Thank you. Sorry.
This is the first test file that we'll be actually writing code in and running. So let's do that. So what we need to do is we need to copy the entire code over here. This is our first test. Just copy it from step number 4, copy it, and then there's paste. Okay, paste it. And before I will explain you what that means, I will ask you to go to step number 5 and just copy the command and paste it and click enter. Try to run this test and see what happens. And I'm expecting all of you to open the browser, to test the application and pass. So do all of that. Copy step number 4 into the file and then run script from step number 5 in the terminal. And let me know what happens in your case. And let me know if nothing happens or you didn't do that or you need help.
I have 3 problems.
Tell me. Which kind of problems, Anna?
I don't have configure run.
Okay, let's go one by one. Anna, what is your problem? You are muted. If you're trying to talk, you're muted, Anna.
Oh my, sorry about that. Maybe I share my screen.
Yeah, let me stop my sharing. Yeah, go ahead.
It is right here.
Ah, yes, because you pasted your script in this place, and you book your code.
I need to put enter, yeah, or.
So this guy should go to terminal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and what is this actually? You just output terminal. You need to open terminal. Big terminal.
Okay.
Yeah, you need to paste it over here, not in the files. File contains our code, and these guys contain scripts. Yeah, and you paste it. So this script that you pasted runs actually our file. Okay, scroll up. Wait, too far. I just needed to
Okay, here.
a few more lines up. Oh, what you can do, wait, you can try to drag this thing to up so we can see more terminal. Yep. Okay, scroll down. Okay, so here's your problem. When you were configuring, doing initial configuration, we've changed this. You didn't change it, you just clicked enter. That's what your problem. But we can fix it. We can fix it. Go to wdo-config.js.
Okay, I'm here.
And here, now move this a little bit down so we can see more file. Yeah, wait, tick, specs over here. This is the configuration. So what you need to do, so your files are in test.js, and then, no, you don't have to copy and paste. I would like to explain you what that means. So this line means, so your file should be in test folder, and inside we need to read. So star means anything with .js extension. So actually the star means anything. So actually what do you need to do? You need to write the same here, because your files are in test folder and will be called with .js. So what do you need to do to change it? To test, then star.js, like this, or copy and paste right now. But this is just a path to your files, and your files in test folder, not test specs and so on. What is the difference between what you have and this?
Like this one.
What is the difference? What is the difference?
Oh, okay. Without.
Make it the same.
Why
did you remove everything?
I don't know. Sorry.
Yeah, that means no, that's bad, because it should be a string. You removed everything now.
Okay, and one more.
Click Control Z a few times. Control Z, Control plus Z. So get it back. Control. Yes, one more time. One more time. One more time. Yeah, now we replace only the part inside the string. So leave quotes. Do not remove them. Just put your cursor over here. Try to put your cursor over here.
Over here? Okay.
Just remove everything. Just leave quotes.
Oh, okay. I got it.
Yeah, and then just paste inside.
Okay.
Yeah, so now your path is correct. It's in test folder and everything with JS file. So which is so this is just a path, your specs. Specs are the test files. So what you see here is a test folder and test.js is in there. So now your application will be able to find your tests. But before you had the path something like test, specs, and something else, right? But you didn't have that structure.
Yeah.
That's what was the problem, because in your configuration, the path to your files was different. So try to run the test again. How to run the test? Can you move this a little bit up again?
Yeah.
Wait, and then you can drag this to the bottom as well, so you can have more inside. Yeah. So how to run the same script again? You can type it again. You can copy and paste again. But there is one nice functionality in terminal. You can just click arrow up on your keyboard, and the previous command will be shown.
Okay, like this one.
Click in terminal, click your mouse in terminal. Click,
Okay.
and then click up on the keyboard, and then click up again, and click up again. So it saves the history of your commands. Just click down until you find that command with test. Down.
Okay, like
Yeah.
this?
Yeah, and run this command. So whenever you need to run the test again, you don't have to type it again and copy paste again. You can just click up, click OK quickly. And yeah, you just click up and that's it. It will show you the previous command. Run the test again. So it opens the browser. Okay, and click it again. Run it again. No, run it again. You didn't run it. You just click enter. How to run it again?
Up.
Yes, find that command and then click enter. Correct. Yeah, so just to give you a tip, right? So you don't have to type the command again. The history of your commands is saved. You just can navigate through them by clicking up on your keyboard or down on your keyboard. And then enter for the command you would like to run. Okay, thank you, Anna. I thought the code and script are the same things, synonyms. What is the difference in general? No, the code, yeah, sometimes there is a script in terms of like what you would like to do, and you in your script in terminal, you run something to do, and it will run some code, some file with the code inside, which is called script, right? But in VS Code right now, you need to distinguish those two things, because what you will be having in files, those are code. Whatever you have in your terminal are scripts, because you cannot write code over here. Just only scripts, specific scripts, what to do and what to run, but no code. You cannot create variables over here and so on. Whenever you create variables, functions, and so on, those are called code, right? So you can, this is how you will be distinguishing those two right now, especially in VS Code, because the terminal will be just used for running commands. You can have a synonym of the command and script. So command is like a script, like, so when you run command, you use terminal. When you write a code, you use the tag, your files over here, use this tag code editor. Okay, so we were able to install everything. We were able to configure everything and run our first test. So everything works. Does everybody see the passing to test cases passing?
I have 0.
Yes.
Excuse me, Alex, what did you say?
I have 0 passes. One hit,
Okay.
one total.
Yeah, let's share your screen. Let's see what happened. No, Alex says it didn't open Chrome. Yeah, open your share the screen first. Let's see. Yeah, make it bigger, please. Okay, scroll up a little bit. Scroll up. Stop. Oh, started on prepare hook. Chrome driver, only local connections are allowed. Please see. Scroll down. Runner skipped. Why skipped? Why is that skipped? One test was skipped. Okay, but why? Can you run it again? So I see what happens. Just click. No, this is some. Click up. Did you click up? I didn't. I cannot hear you. Are you talking? Maybe you are muted. Oh, okay, it's starting. Okay, just click. Skipped. Let's see, skipped in Chrome. So can you make it smaller so I can see your code in the file? Yeah, make the terminal smaller. The terminal. And scroll up your file, the file itself. Yeah, seems like it is correct. Can you do, oh man. As I said, you didn't save. Click file and enable autosave. Enable it. Yes. It's enabled. Don't click it again. And now click package.json. No. Go to package.json, open it. On the top. Alex, are you talking? Because I cannot hear you. You're probably muted.
Oh, now now I'm speaking.
Click package.json over here. Package.json, yeah. And scroll up. Click click file save. What happens? File save. Is never override. Just click override. Override. Okay, save. Run the test again. Now it should work. So your test was empty. But that's correct command. Click enter. What happens? What you can do now?
My PC is very low, so it's waiting.
What you can do now? Can you? Oh, it's actually starting. It's okay, game. Just wait for it. It's starting. Everything is fine. Yeah. So in your case, the problem was very simple. The file was never saved, and it means it was empty. So the browser was starting, but what happened? Yeah, but what happened actually, the file was empty, so there was nothing to test. There were no tests because you put the code but didn't save it. Now, since you enabled that functionality to autosave, it will be saved. Don't worry about that. Okay, awesome, good. Let me then share my screen. So now I'm going to explain you. So what we did actually, what we have right now so far, we just installed the framework using few commands. We configured it with the configuration that we need to demonstrate. We just use Chrome driver. We will be not using many browsers, just one browser, Chrome. That's why we used Chrome driver. And we have copied this simple code. I will explain it later, what that means. And we ran the test by using the command to run the test. So what we have so far in our framework, we have node modules. And when we run npm install and we did initial configuration, so all the modules that our framework needs, they were installed in this folder. So the test folder wasn't created by us. This will be just the folder where we'll be storing our tests, the tests you will be creating. These guys are created automatically when we were doing configuration. And this is the main file that contains the config. You don't have to know it right now, but this is the file that was created when we ran that configuration script. And package.json was created by initial step when we run npm initialize init. And this file was created as initial file. And this file shows the system that this is the project. What it stores? It stores, so the main things that we need to know about it, beside name and stuff like that, you don't have to know this. This is what you need to know, is scripts. This file contains scripts and they have name and the value. The value, actually the script that you run. So all those scripts that you ran initially, for example, this script, right? This is the name of the script, and this is the script value, exactly what you run. And this is dependencies. This is everything that we installed in node modules. So this is what we have installed so far. Just a list. So when you remove this folder, you can always install them from scratch because this file contains the information about them. And whenever you need to install all those files, you run command, and that command will come to this place, find everything that this framework needs, and will install everything, and this folder will appear again. So you never lose your information. This information is saved here. And whenever you need to restore something, even if you don't have node modules, it will be installed based on this information. But what you need to do today, what you need to know today, that the scripts part of it. So you can have as many scripts as you want by defining their name. Name is a variable, like it defined by you. And you can always run this script by using command npm run, and then the script name. In this case, it's test. So I do test. What it should write? It should do echo. Echo means like print this to the terminal. It's the same as a console log, but in terminal, it's the command to print something into the terminal, right? So same as in JSBin console log, so echo means the same, print this, and then exit, this process to exit. So when I run it, as you can see, it just prints this over here and just exits the process. That's it. This is all this script does. This is just an example of the script. But we would like to run this command all the times when we use test, because this command, we need to remember it, to type it, especially if you close your terminal. You open it again, there is no history. You have to type this command again or copy it from somewhere. So you always have to remember it, and it's pretty long. So instead of that, you copy this command and paste it into test, replace the value of the test command. And now, instead of running this command, and you don't have to remember all the syntaxes of it, you just run npm run test. It will go here, run the test script, and it will run the script that you need, which is triggering the test. npm run test. As you can see, the test has started. So instead of writing that command, now I can just simply use this one, just paste it into the test. So this script works very simple. You can create as many scripts as you want. It's as you can see, it's an object from JavaScript. So what you need to do, you can put comma, and then you can enter again. Same thing. Script name, like, I don't know, run, or I don't know, report or whatever, and then some script over here, whatever you need to do, right? And you can have as many as you want. So this is how script work. But in our case, we just need one script, which is test. And this value, this is long value from documentation to run the test, we need to put it inside. And then, as you can see, step number 6 tells exactly what I just said. Replace the test script by this. This is, you can copy this and replace the entire line. Test, npx, wdo run, and that's it. So instead of this long script, you can always run the test script that you know, npm run, and the name of the script test. And it runs. So try that and let me know if that works or not for you. So everybody who's following me, just try to do that and let me know if something is not working. Yes, Elvira, go ahead.
Do we paste it in the terminal, like this npx?
So this command,
yes,
this command goes to terminal, but
okay.
you don't want to have and type this command, this long command all the times, right? Especially sometimes command can be even longer. So instead of writing this long command, what we do, we put this command into this script over here.
So just replace it, right, with what was there previously. Okay, I got it.
What you can do, you can actually go here to the step number 6, and there is the entire line, including the test script, and then the test, the script values. We can copy and replace the entire line. Over here.
I got it. All right, thank you.
Welcome. Oh, man. Okay, good. So, and then you will be able just to type npm run test and more of that. So actually how it works, this command, so you can run any script that you have in this list, and you will see that on the main course, we will have a lot of more scripts. We will have scripts to generate reports, to send emails, and so on. So for example, we'll be creating more scripts on our own, naming them like report generate, report send, and so on. And there will be more scripts over here, but we create them. But in order to run that script, you use command npm run, and the script name, in our case, it's test, but it can be any script, npm run test. More of that, the test script is kind of like built in. It's a default script. So there is a shortcut, which is npm t, and it will run this test script. So this is works just for test. If you create your custom script, you won't be able to use that because it's just working for test. So for any custom script, you will need to use npm run and the script name. But for test, it's only npm t. You can try that as well, and it will run the test script as well. Okay, everybody follows me and everything works. Let me know if something doesn't. Okay, hope everything works. Now the most important.
Excuse me, could you repeat the last command that you did, the last step?
Yeah, so npm run, and then the script name will run the script from scripts, from the package.json and scripts. So whenever the command is test, you say test. But if you have another script, you created your own script to do something else, you can run it by using npm run and that script name. But I just mentioned that for test, there is even a shorter way, because test has a shortcut, which is npm t, and it works. It runs the test command from the package.json.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yeah, so whenever you have like a long script, you don't have to like keep them like in your memory or in any document. You just create your script, your own script over here with some custom name. For example, in order to generate script, to generate a report in my repo on my work, I have a long script, like create folders, clean something, move some files from one folder to another, like a long script. So instead of like typing it all the times, I just created a script, report generate, put all of that value of that script in that string over here. And then whenever I need to run report, I don't have to type that long script. I always say npm run report generate, and it will run that complex script. Same in our case, instead of running this all the times and putting it into the terminal, you just remember the word test. And whenever you need to run this, you just say npm run test, or even shorter, if you know for the test script, it's npm t. And that's it. This is only that you need to understand, remember, and you never remember this command. I don't remember this command. I never use it because all the times, whenever you install my framework from scratch, I put it into test. And whenever I need to run the test, I just type npm t. And this is how my test runs. And again, remember, this is just configuration. You do this once. So all the other times, whenever you did this one time, you just need to open the video or follow the guide, and that's it. You're done. You will never do this again once you created that framework, because most of the times after that, what you will do, you will just create more tests over here. So currently we have only 2 tests, and I will explain how to read them and how to create new. But after you created your framework, that's it. You will just create those tests. But for now, I'm just explaining you some things, what they mean, how to make your life easier. And so you just follow the guide simply from this document. If it says, hey, to make your life easier, just put this script over here to do that, use this command and so on. And once you did all of that, that's it. You will just go and just create new tests, and we will go to it right now. Yes, Alex.
So I have a question. What is npm? What does it do? And what does it mean?
npm is Node Package Manager. Once you created, so you were installing Node. Node was like one of the prerequisites. Node is just like environment for JavaScript that you run JavaScript in. So when you type npm, this command goes to package.json, looks for the package.json. And when you say run, it goes to scripts. And when you say the name of the script, it goes to that script. And that's it. So npm is just command that works with the project. So it's just the main command with the project, npm. If you install the module, you say npm install. If you would like to run the command, you say npm run. If you would like to run specific script, you say npm run and the script name and so on. So npm is just node package manager. It manages your project, and that's what it means.
Okay, thank you.
And you may not understand everything fully right now because it may be difficult for you, because this is not the scope of this lesson. The scope of this lesson is just, hey, follow the guide to install your framework, and that's it. You don't have to even know what it does. You just need to install it following the guide. And then the main thing here is just the test file, the syntaxes that we will be writing. This is the most important thing right now, because this is the code. This will require your knowledge, and this will require your, I don't know, probably some creativity, because here there can be some complex things and you will need to think, hey, how can I do that? How can I test that? How can I check that? So this will require some creativity and some code creation. All of the things that we just did before this time is just following the guide. You don't have to remember them. But what I will explaining right now is something that you need to remember. Okay, first of all, the syntaxes. You see some words, describe, before, and it, and so on. So what is that? So describe, so all of this is Mocha syntaxes. Remember when we were installing the framework and doing the initial configuration, we were selecting Mocha as a framework. Mocha is a test runner. Means like Mocha has specific syntaxes to say the system, hey, this is a test, hey, this is a like pre-test preparation, and this is the test suite. So describe is a test suite, is a set of tests. So whenever you need to create some test, you create describe. And it's, as you can see, it's predefined syntaxes. It's predefined syntaxes, which is a function. As you can see, it's declared, you like a call the function. So yes, it's a function. So describe is a function that accepts two arguments. The first argument is the string, which is the name of the set. For example, you are testing the left top corner of our website, right? The text area. So this is the name of the set of tests. If inside you would like to break down your test cases into like sets, not to test everything, the whole in one whole thing, but you would like to break them down to simple and logical pieces. Hey, I test text area, so I will have a set of tests called text area, and you call the text area, right? Then you have another describe, another set of tests, and it will be image, right? You will be testing image. And then you will have another set of tests, we'll be testing table, and so on. Table. So this is the describe is just like built-in function. So somewhere there is a template for that function, somebody created, but we as a developers don't have to care about that template, because developers created that template, like we created multiply function, remember? And then we say, in order to use my function, you need to provide two arguments to multiply one by one. So first argument and the second argument. And the output of that function will be one argument will be multiplied by the second one. So it always have to have two arguments. Describe is the same. We don't care what is inside of describe, because some developers created a complex logic that is inside describe. It's hidden somewhere in node modules, in Mocha, but we don't know where. But we know that whenever we use describe, it will be set of tests. This is how they define it. The first argument will be a string, the suite name, test suite name, and the second argument, separated by comma, as you remember, should be a function. So I need to put a function like this. Sorry, it should be like this. I forgot to remove the syntaxes. Yeah, and the second will be a function. Let me just paste it. Function like this, and then you click enter over here, and this is how the describe syntaxes works. And you even don't have to remember this as well. I'm just explaining you how it works, but this is how developers told us. Whatever you would like to create a set of tests, you have to follow this. this syntaxes. The first argument is the name of the set of tests, like a test area, and the second argument is the function. You can see it like this. Some unnamed function. I didn't even name it, just unnamed function, just function, no name, regular syntaxes, and inside this function will be a list of test cases for this describe. This is how they created. I don't know why they created this in this way, but this is how they tell us. Whenever you need to create a set of tests, follow this guide and create like this, and then put the test cases inside, and the test case is it, and it's pretty much the same as described. Actually, it's it means it's a test case. Then inside you have also two arguments. The first argument is the name, like, I don't know, text area is present. We'll be checking that it's present, right? And the second argument is function. Function. And then you, again, to let me make it slower. And then you put function, and then you will be putting the code, what you are doing in this test inside this function. They just define these syntaxes. And that's it. And you just need to follow it. But I will just remove it right now and show you that you don't have to even know this, because I never create describe and it from scratch. What I do, whenever I need to create a new test, I copy and paste below, rename, remove this code, and put whatever I need. Because I will be testing something else. I will just name it differently. And then I will just add another code over here. And I will get to this code, what it does later. So you never even have to remember these syntaxes. You will just copy and paste, knowing that describe is a test suite, is a set of tests. Before is a preparation that you are doing before the test. For example, in order to start testing the title of the website and the URL is correct, you have to open the website, first of all. So that's why before contains a preparation. For example, you are testing in this test suite, you're testing that registration form. What do you need to do? You have to open the website, click the button, and wait until that pop-up is open. Only then you can start testing that form. You cannot just start testing it by default, because there is no registration form displayed. So everything that is a preparation, which is opening the URL, then clicking the button, and then opening the form, and then waiting that the form is really displayed, because it takes time, and JavaScript works very fast. So you cannot just start testing right away. You have to wait until it's open. And only when it's open, you are ready to start testing that the fields are displayed, the buttons are displayed, the values, and etc. So you can do all of that after you prepared. So before, it's just a preparation. Individual it is a test. So what we actually do here, so describe called page, because we are just testing the page in general. So the page has a title. Remember, what is a title? The title is what is displayed in here in the browser, text start. This is the title. So we test that the title is what we expect. And then we test that the URL is correct whenever we go to this URL. Because by default, we go to this URL, but it should add line and patient to it by default. So that's what we're testing. So the URL is this plus line and patient. So that's what we actually are testing. So describe, it just says, okay, this is set of tests called page. Then we have a preparation. This command browser URL opens the website, and you see slash. Why slash? Because we already defined base URL when we were configuring our website somewhere over here. It should put it over here when you created it. Oh yes, base URL. Remember when we were configuring our website, our framework, I'm sorry, then we provided this URL as a base URL. So base URL will be there. You just need to say, hey, go to base URL, just slash. That's what it means. because we already say that this is our base URL and our application will always be in this URL and we will be testing it. So then whenever you need to go to some specific URL in your VS Code, you need to provide it. For example, over here, if you need to go to specific URL, you put specific URL. If you would like to go to base URL, you just put / and it will go to your base URL. So this is what we do in before. Just open our website. And then we just check that our browser has title text start. And then we expect that our browser has URL this. This is what we do in those 2 test cases. And that's very simple. So now, if you remember that describe, so whenever you need to create a new describe, it's also very simple. You just do copy a few lines. You just need to understand, so describe starts here. This is the function. And before it and it are inside, and you can have as many its as you want, are inside that function. The second argument, right? You see describe, then first argument is a string, is the name, and the second argument is the function. And everything else leaves inside function in describe. So you can just open it. So this is another feature that VS Code gives you. You can simply close some blocks of code to not be distracted, right? So you can you need to understand that describe starts here and ends here. So you can copy the entire describe, do some few line breaks and copy. And then you just remove whatever you need. You have before, if you need it, you have it, you just rename it to something else. You rename this to another test suites that you will be testing. I can rename it to, and maybe text area will be the next one. Text area will be the next one. And we'll be testing something here, right? Let me try to run it if it runs. It should run, but it won't test anything in this because it's actually, yeah, it has nothing. So it's passing automatically. So this is about syntax. So you don't have to remember how it works. You just need to remember the only one thing. You need to create another test, copy and paste, and then just replace whatever you have inside. If you need to create another describe, just copy and paste. You don't have to remember the syntaxes, because when I'm explaining you, I remember the syntaxes. I'm telling, oh, it has 2 arguments, and the first one is a name as a string, the second is a function. But if I work, I never think about that because I'm always just copy pasting. Whenever I need a new describe, I copy the entire describe and paste it and just rename, remove all the tests that I need and leave, for example, one test and just create it. Whenever I need one new test, I will just copy and paste again and so on. This is how it works. So you never remember the syntaxes. You will remember it because you will become a professional anyways. It will be easy for you. But for today's lesson, you even don't have to remember about it. You just need to understand describe is a suite, before is a preparation, and it is a test. And now the most important things, where these commands come from and how to actually test something, how to actually open the URL, how to actually to check that the title is correct and so on, how to actually make tests, because these guys inside. So this syntax is, as you can see, just to organize tests, right? This is Mocha syntax, and it solves only one problem, how to organize tests in some organized structure, which is the suites, befores, and tests. How to organize, and that's it. This is the only purpose. But how to actually test something, how to find elements on the page, how to compare them, that's problem solved by WebDriver.io, and these commands coming from WebDriver.io. How to find them? If you scroll down to step number 7 in this guide, you will find WebDriver.io API reference. So WebDriver.io developers, what they did actually, they created a bunch of different functions that have specific purpose. And they just told us, hey, in order to find the element on the page, use this function. In order to check that the text is correct, use this function. In order to check that that thing is correct, use that function. So what we have is just a list of predefined commands that we need to use, and that's it. So you already have everything that you need to do. So first thing that you need to learn is expect, because expect already have a lot of things built in. So if you need to check something on the page level or browser level, there are few matchers over here. To have URL, in order, if you need to check that something has an URL, for example, you would like to check that browser has this specific URL. We actually use this command. You copy this and just paste it and replace this part by your expected URL. And that's it. That's how simple it is. For example, you need to check that URL is not exact match, but URL containing. You check the URL containing WebDriver. So you copy this command and then just paste it and replace your expected result. Expected this guy by your expected result. And let's say, so let's give you an example. So what we do actually, so I told you expect, it will have most of things. For example, if you would like to check that something is displayed, something exists, something has some specific attributes, some has value, something clickable or disabled or enabled or whatever, right? So a lot of things you will find here. But sometimes you need to click something or do something. You go, for example, to browser. So what browser has? Browser keys is just the, you can type whatever you would like to enter on the keyboard, right? You would like to enter something on the keyboard, you use browser key, right? And how you can actually find something that you can use, you just read through it. Read every command and see what it does. You need to delete cookies from your browser. You can use this command. If you need to do something on browser level, if you would like to do something on element level, like element click over here, you need to find that element by using selector. What is selector? Same thing that we learned on CSS. Whatever you use in CSS, like class, use the dot and the class name. If you have unique ID, use a # and unique ID, and you put instead of selector over here, and then you say click, and that's it. It will work. So this is what we will try to do right now. So let me go back to my Visual Studio Code. And what we do here, as you can see, we use command browser URL. Let's read about it. About browser URL, browser URL. So binding, so protocol binding, you can read it, function to load the URL of the browser, right? And it says browser URL, and you provide the URL inside. And here are some examples. You either say the entire URL you want to go to, or some relative URL, right? In our case, it's just a slash because it's relative. We already have a base URL in our configuration file, so we just say slash, and it will go to the base URL. And that's it. This, you just read how that function works, and that's it. And just copy and paste. So I'm copying and pasting this command, and I'm navigating my browser to that URL, to base URL. Then I'm checking that my browser, I'm expecting, and the syntax is very human language. Expect browser to have title. So browser means your browser. So expect browser to have title, text start, right? This is what I'm expecting to have in my application, because this is my title of my application, text start. And it should match. If it matches, it will pass. If not, let's say my expected result, tag space start, and I run a test case. How do you think what happened? It will show me the failure because it will get text start without space, but I'm expecting it with space. So it will catch a bug for me, and I don't have to test it manually. It will catch it for me, and it will even show me the difference. So this is what I expected because I put expected result over here. And this is what it get, text start without space. And it even highlights me a difference. Very simple. Whenever I need to check the URL, I put this. And this is also important test because I'm not testing only that base URL is displayed. I know that there is a functionality whenever I go to base URL, the application adds this automatically. So I'm checking that precisely that it actually adds that URL to it. Okay, guys, some people are left, but you will be able to watch the end of the recording. It's very important for you. It's not necessary. If you will be joining the main course, you will learn this in many lessons, and you will know all of that even more and more better. But for you, for now, what I'm trying to show you right now, so it's easy because you as a developer in the modern world, you don't have to know a lot of things and create them from scratch. you have to use already created functions, and we are going to use them. For example, the text area, I'm going to test text area. So let me open my my application, not this, my Chrome. The text, I'm going to tag the text area that it's this, so the text is displayed. So where is my text is located? ID, line title. So there is ID. This is good because I will be using this as a selector. So I'm going to check that this element is displayed. This is what I'm trying to find. So this element is displayed. This is the first thing I will be checking. That's why, let me just remove. Let's say I already tested my page. Now I would like to create a new describe. So I will copy the entire describe. We'll paste it. We'll remove this if. We'll think, do I need before or not? To test the text area. I open the browser. It will open this page and it will start testing the text start and my URL. I have this website open, so I don't have to actually open it again. So I don't need before over here. Because one file will have one browser session. You will understand this later when you will start working with it closely. So one file is one browser session. Whenever you open this URL in one file, in one JS file, the browser will remain open. Once you end your tests in this file, the browser will be closed automatically. So if you opened browser once in your file in one before, you don't have to open it again. If you need to navigate to another URL or do something specifically, for example, test registration form, in order to test registration form, you need to open it. Then you need to do some before. But in order to test my text area, I don't have to actually do anything else because I already in my browser, right? So I will remove before and I will just have my tests. So let me say text area, and then say displayed. I will remove this because this is not a one. And this is the simple syntaxes. You have one suite or set of tests and one test and with their names. And that's it. This is the syntaxes that you just copy and paste, even without understanding it. The only thing to know here, you have to precisely, that's what I'm suggesting people, put spaces between it. So you can visually and easily see where it starts and ends. Whenever something is not formatted, you can always do a right click and format document. Let's say I accidentally moved this and I don't know when my it starts and ends, right? So I can always do click, right click and format document. It will format it. So I can always see that, okay, it starts here and ends here. Describe starts here and ends here and so on. So always keep it clean, put spaces between it. As you can see over here, I could do like this, but it will be super messy, right? That's why I'm putting always spaces, keep my code clean. And I visually see my it starts over here and ends over here, starts over here and ends over here. And visual code even helps me by putting those gray lines over here, right? You see them. Okay, so displayed. I go just to here to, I will go to expect and to be displayed, the first command. So here's the syntax, is usage. I need to use this, 2 lines. I need to create constant element and assign this function will find element by using a selector. And these are CSS selectors. So whenever I have unique ID, or I have unique tag, or I have unique class, something unique. Otherwise, the code will find the first element in HTML with that selector. So if you have multiple buttons on your page and you use button selector over here, it will find the first button on the page. But if you have unique IDs, then you can use IDs. IDs are the best. If you have unique class, you can use the class name. So remind me, how in CSS we apply style to the tag? What symbol we use before that tag name in CSS? Does somebody remember?
Dot?
No, dot is for class. For tag, for the element, we don't use anything, just the tag name, like body, right, button or so, nothing. We use nothing. For class, we use dot, right? And for ID, we use a pound sign. And we are going to use ID because those are the best. Okay, so I'm going to copy this 2 lines. This is the usage, how to use it, right? And copy it. Then I paste into my code. Paste in my code. So I just need to replace this by a needed ID. So what happens here, actually, I create constant element, and then this function will find that element on the page and put it inside element. So element will actually contain that HTML element that I'm looking for. And then the next function, which is the checker, this function expect, it just comparison of the actual result and expected. So element is actual result, and right side to be displayed is expected result. You can see here, expect browser, it's actual result, because it's actual browser, and to have URL an exact value is expected result, because this is what you expect. So it will get URL on the left side from that browser and compare it with what you have on the right side, which is the expected result. So actually expect is just expected result that you're checking. So we are expecting element to be displayed. Very human language, very easy to remember. So this is what we do, but the only step that we need to do is replace this, but exact ID. So I will go to my inspector and I will try to find ID, right? I see ID over here. I may open these, but this is the entire website. This is just the top row. I need to, this is the like area, but I don't have an ID here. I don't have anything specific. So I go down and I see ID over here, an ID line title. So in order to use this ID, I just need to put it name with pound sign, like this pound sign and name, line title. If I have some unique class, in this case, it's GSS 4, 5, 6, probably they are also unique. Like GSS 6 probably will be unique for this one. It will be just only one element, but you need to find it. How I usually do, I use, here I can use a search, which is Command F or Control F on Windows, and then you can search. So let's search for GSS 6. Yeah, there is only 1 out of 1. So there is unique class as well. So whenever I need to use this, I can use class name, but class is, as you remember, dot and class name. ID is a pound sign and ID. A class is like this. And now let's run it. Actually, let's fix it. Okay, so now I'm looking for the element with this class, and it should be unique. Why? Because again, I will repeat again, the code by default will just find the first element with that class. So if, for example, you use this class, MIUI box root, right? You can see 1, 2, 3. So it will find actually the first one. The first one, and it will find it. So the first element can be displayed, but your div or this div is not displayed. It's missing. So it will find actually this guy, will pass the test because it's there. This element is there. But if you're looking for something specific, and we are looking for this area, for the text area to be displayed. So you either looking for this unique class. If there is no class unique for this unique, you look for this unique ID. And the best practices for developers to add IDs to every element. So every element has unique ID, so you're able to find it on the page. So this is the best practices, and you have to tell developers that they have to do that for you. So let's use the class first, test it if it works with class, and then let's use ID because it's correct. It's the best way. So actually, as you can see, pretty quickly, tested pretty quickly. The test area is displayed. Let me use this. But this is the best way to use ID. Let's test it again. Okay, got it. So it's displayed. Now I'm going to test value or text area value, right? So the text value. So how to test? I need to check the text. So let me see, to have link, to have text. So, okay, I'm looking for the element, and then I can use as many ones as you want. To have element, to have text. Okay, so this is my command. I will be just copying this because I already have, I'm looking for the same element. So actually, even if I copy paste it, I'm looking for the same element. But here, instead of this command, I will be checking not to be displayed, but to have text. And next, let's actually run it, let it fail. So I get the exact text that it will display. So it should fail because I'm expecting some weird text, but let's see what it gives us as a text. And it shows us an error message and the difference between the two texts we're looking for. Yeah, so actually, as you can see, this is what I was expecting, but this is what we get. So I will just copy it from here. This is expected result. And I'm checking for the value. As you can see, I don't remember all those commands. What I do, I just list already prepared commands from me, from these developers, from WebDriver developers. If you go to Cypress, you will actually find the same. So all the frameworks, modern frameworks, they are not about you knowing something and keeping everything in your memory. No, it's all about you just going and just looking for the commands, how to use them, like this, right? And the syntax is a bit different, like the commands are different, like in order to use everything, right? But you don't have to remember them. You know that in Cypress, in order to go to URL, the command will be like Cypress Go, for example, right? In the URL, instead of like browser URL in WebDriver. But the list of command will be here, and you will be just using them, and that's it. So this is how it works. You have the list of commands from the developers of the frameworks, and you just use them according to what they created. Same, remember the same case as you created. When you created a function to multiply something, to make full name from first name and last name, it has specific requirements. There should be 2 arguments as strings. First one should be first name, the second one should be last name. Those are the requirements. Same here. Developers created those functions and say, hey, this is how to use them. You create the element, you look for the element in the first line and put it into the element constant. And the second line, you say, expect this element to have text, to be checked, to be clickable, to be disabled, to be present, to be displayed, existing, to have attribute. For example, you're looking for a placeholder. You're looking for a placeholder. You can look for the placeholder using attribute because there is an attribute, or you can some specific class to be present, to have attribute class equal to this, and so on. So all those commands are here. If you need to click the element, you go here, element click, element double click, element drag and drop, get size, whatever you need to do. Here, all the commands and everything you can do that you can imagine, all of that is here. And you can play with this on your own as well. Let's do another thing. Let's click this button actually. So I would love somebody to help me now. And that will be the last thing that we learned today. So let's leave this. Let's create another one, which will be a registration form. And again, you will see them here in the report. So as you can see, this is the test set. This is the test set. Those are tests, and they are marked passed or failed, right? Okay, and let me do the last thing. So I copied this, I removed this. I remember that for the registration form, what I need to do, I need to actually open it. So let me do that. I need to add before here. I will be on the website, but what I need to do here, I need to click the button in order to open the web form. So what I will do, I will go here. I will do to element click. I will select this. Oh, where's the example? Over here, my button click. Okay, my button. Okay, let's find that button on the page. What is the ID of that button, or any specific to get in line? Oh, here it is. There is ID align add button. Let's see. So what should I put here? like this? Or am I missing something?
Hashtag.
Hashtag, that's correct. I need to add a hashtag. So this function will find my button on the page, will add it to my button constant. You can call it LM as well as we call it here, but you need to use it at the bottom as well. LM over here. And then we do click. So we find that element and we do click. And then you know what? I would do one browser that pause. So there is a function that adds a pause, but in milliseconds. For example, pause for 2 seconds will be 2000 milliseconds. What I'm trying to do is just to pause the execution, because what happens is you can see JavaScript works very fast. So you don't even understand what happens. So what I would like to do is click the button, put the 2 seconds pause to see that the pop-up actually opens. So let me run the test again and see. Yes, it opened. And now my browser waits for 2 seconds and disappears. So actually it works. So my preparation is done. In this case, in order to open the registration form, I need to click the button. And that's why I put this in before to prepare my test. And then I start testing my registration form by test cases. The first one will be displayed, which is easy. I will just even copy from here, but rename the, change the ID. But the function will be the same. Hey, find the element and then expect element to be displayed. So if you even test different things, some of the tests will be similar. The only difference will be IDs, because you always need to order to test something that is displayed, the code will be the same all the times. The only difference will be just ID. So let's find that ID of this pop-up. So how to inspect it? Inspect. Class role dialog. I don't see any IDs. No, it is here. It's here. Presentation, line add dialog. Let's see if we can find it. Line add dialog, right? And to be displayed. And then okay. Then what I would like to do, not displayed on close. On close. I will click the close button first. Then what I will do, I will then make sure that it's not displayed, and it will be super simple. So here what we need to do, what do we need to do? So it will be displayed, we will check it, it's displayed, but then what we need to do to close it, we need to click close button, and then to make sure it's not displayed, which is also very simple. So first of all, logically, let's try to understand. We click the button, then it will be displayed, and once it's displayed, we need to click close button and check it's not displayed. That's what I'm trying to do. So let's, this code will find the button and then click it. So let me find that button here. Cancel, cancel button. Cancel. Line cancel button over here. Line cancel button. So this will find it, put it into LM variable, and then LM click. Oh, I cannot use the same variable in this code, 2 constants in the same code next to each other. So these are different, right? Because this is inside the function and this is inside the function. So they not interact. But here, probably I will rename it to button. So here's the thing, VS Code helps you as well. So what you need to do to rename one of the variables, you need to rename this and rename this because you use them together. But what if you click this and do rename symbol and say button, right? It renamed that to button already. This should be LM. Okay, so now we have button and we will click button, and here we have element. But this command says wait to be displayed. How to make it not displayed? Not displayed. This is the syntax of this command. So you can, if you need something to be displayed, you say to be displayed, or clickable, to be clickable, or whatever you there is. So if there is a command over here that says in expect to have attribute, you can say to not have attribute. So you just add not before that, and it will test the same, but vice versa. To be disabled, to be not disabled, to have ID, to not have ID, and so on. So this is the syntaxes of this command. So actually what we're going to test is find the button and click it, and then find the element and wait and check that it's not displayed after clicking the button. So which logic is pretty simple. You just need to find that dialog, put it into element, and then expect element not to be displayed. As you can see, it's even a human language, which is pretty much easy to even remember. So some commands you will be using daily, which is displayed, click, and so on. You will be remember all of them. Some commands you won't be remembering because it's hard to remember because you are using them rarely, and you won't remember them. But you can always open the website and look for the command. This website is open daily on my screen because I'm daily using and looking for some commands, some specific things. Sometimes I need to drag and drop something, right? I do that rarely, but sometimes I need to do that. And that's why I open this command and how to use it. Okay, how to use it. Some target, I need to do some location of the where I need to put that element and so on, right? So this is how it works. But sometimes I need to use it, so I have to go and read it. So you don't have to remember anything. You just go look for the command and you think, I need to click it, but you think as a manual tester, what I should do. I need to enter the something into this field. You look for the element ID first name, right? First name. And you look for the command how to enter something into that field. So you look for the element and look for the command that does something. For example, it's set value. I believe it's set value. Yeah, set value. Here it is. Input, and you put the ID over here, and then you set value, whatever, first name as a string, and you put the first name. Then you need to set value into the last name. You inspect this element. You use this ID, but the command will be the same as the first name. It will be set value. So you copied this guy, this piece of code, and then you just replace the ID and the value that you need to enter, and that's it. And it will work. So it's all about reading, using different commands, and that's it. It's so simple. So again, you install the framework once, and then you just read the commands that you need to use, and that's it. This is all about automation. Of course, when we do the big framework, the complexity we add on our own. We add different folder structure. We add more folders, more files, connect them together. So we are using page object model. So the framework in general is complex, but it's not because the framework initially complex, because we add complexity as developers. But the initial framework is always like this. This is all we do. The other complexity that we add on our own, what makes our framework is different from framework that is used at Apple, is the structure that we add as developers. Different folders, different files, how they are connected, additional logic to generate report, to send report, and to do a lot of other stuff. That's all on us. But if you create framework from scratch, you always do these steps. You do initial installation, then test files, and here you go. That's it. This is how easy the test automation currently in the modern world, because you just need to use the predefined commands and use predefined modules that are already created by somebody. You don't have to create them from scratch. You just have to use the commands that are already created and just use them smartly. Just use them thinking as a manual tester. What I need to do to test this, click the button, then check that this is displayed, then add values over here, then click register, then check that ID is displayed, then check the text of that ID, and so on. That is testable. We already did a lot of that. To be displayed, to have text, all those commands are repeated, because all of you do is just clicking, setting values, checking the text, checking that something is displayed. For probably those 4 commands are the most popular. Again, clicking, setting values, checking that something is displayed, and checking the text. Probably the most popular commands, and that's it. You can test probably most of the things on the website using just that. Same on mobile. Instead of like Chrome driver, we'll just install Appium, and we'll use commands from Appium to interact with mobile device functionalities, and that's it. But those commands are predefined. So let's go back. Probably there are some commands over here from Appium to docs, services, Appium service. Where are those commands? Where are those commands? I just would like to find the commands from Appium. Let's see here. Because I don't see them here. Protocol, oh, over here, protocols. Yeah. So what you can do? Everything is here. Driver unlock, is locked, whatever. Everything is here. All the commands. What do you need to do? Remove, activate, install an application, push, reset, whatever. If you open the browser on mobile device, you can always interact with that browser as well. All those commands are marked on the devices they work on and so on. Everything is here. So what do you just do? Install the framework, configure it in the way that you need. If you need to test in browser, you install either Selenium or Chrome driver. If it's only Chrome, if you need to use mobile device testing, you install Appium instead of Chrome driver. So you configure it initially, and then you just use commands from the website because they are created. You don't have to create anything from scratch. Whatever you need to do, just read how it works and what you need to add to it in order to use it, and that's it. Okay, too long today, so questions. I don't have to hold you anymore. Any questions?
I have a question. You show us how to work the manual and the automate test engineers. But before they start, they have to prepare the test cases. Who is doing that?
It depends. It depends on the project. Sometimes how it works, manual testers, they prepare the test cases. They test manually. And automation engineers that just take those test cases and then add to the automation framework. And then again, you add those test cases to automation framework. In the meanwhile, manual testers at the same time prepare the new test cases, and then again test manually, give the test cases to you to automation framework, right? So you like enlarge your suite, the test suite. So you add more and more test cases to the test automation. And that's actually the reason why we have test automation, because let's say you created the first version of the application, it's one page. The next sprint cycle, you created another page, then another page, and now your page is thousands of pages. How to test them manually and make sure that the pages you tested like 3 years ago are still functioning? How? You have to like bring like 1,000 people, right, to test all of that.
Yeah, you're talking about regression testing.
Yes, absolutely correct. We are talking about regression testing, but you add all of those test cases you tested manually to automation and run them as many times as you want. So you test manually usually the new functionalities. You just developed something new, you test that. But in order to test the old functionalities, it's better to use automation, because you just add that to automation and that's it. It sits there forever. You just run whatever you need and it will just test that page that was functioning. And in case if you were creating something new but broke something old, automation will catch it, because automation is checking that everything that was working before is working fine. Also, you can create smoke tests, some quick tests to make sure that application is stable. For example, developers, they just introduce a large, new and complex feature. And they would like to make sure that if they introduce that, nothing is broken and they will not break your test environment. So what they do, they just ask you, hey, can you please run your test, not in QA environment, but in our dev environment. We just rolled out our feature there, and we would like to make sure, because pushing it to your environment where you will be testing, we would like to make sure that it's not broken and we didn't break anything important. So you test it in their environments, which is just you're just replacing the URL. You go to base URL and replace it by their URL that they are using for development. You test it there and say, hey, it's working. My test has passed. Then they say, okay, then we're good to go. And then they deploy to your testing environment, and your other colleagues doing manual testing and automation testing start testing the new functionality. And usually to make sure that main functionalities like login or like the main functionalities users are using on your platform are working fine, you have a smoke test. Smoke test doesn't check like the value of the text and those minor things. The smoke test is aimed to test, hey, can I log in? Can I go through the flow? Can I log out? Can I add something to the system, remove something? Depends on what system do, right? So the main business cases that system created for. So that is usually smoke test to make sure that the system is stable in general, right? Even if something small is broken. So there are different kind of tests, especially if you do performance testing, load testing when you need to generate multiple users, right? To load your system, not just by testing one user. All of that done but automatically, because you can add one test and multiply that by 1,000 times. And then you will load your system by 1,000 users. That is done by automation. So automation has specific purpose, right? That's only used when manual is not working. But manual is good for functional testing that you're doing for the first time, because it's easy and quick and cheap, right? Because let's say how to test that button is green. In this case, you have to check that, hey, check. So there is a command, let's see, expect. So probably you will need to check attribute. I don't remember which thing I need to use. Class form, no, class, not attribute. Forgot what command to use to check the style. So the like a color attribute. Oh man. Let me quickly remind myself. Attribute. Oh man, forgot attribute and attribute. What is the difference? Form control. It's a class. I'm looking for style. Okay, I just over here to have element property, there will be color. For example, in order to check the color of the button, right? Manually, you just open the application and check the color, and that's it. A few seconds. Even for inspecting, just like 20 seconds. Automatically, you have to create a code. You have to create a file. You have to create a code. You have to run it, and blah blah blah. If you don't have framework, you have to install framework. So some things is better and cheaper and quicker to do manually. Some things is better to do automatically. For example, regression testing, because regression testing, as bigger you have the application, as more expensive it becomes to test manually, because you will have to test all the pages that are were developed in the past but are not supported right now. So you have to actually add them to the test automation, and you just have more tests, but you cover the entire application. And manually, you're just focusing on new functionalities, and that's it. So this is ideal world. Manual testers preparing test cases for new functionalities, automation testers just adding those test cases to the automation and just raising that test suite. And at the end, manual testers, like in 5 years or 10 years, they are just focusing, okay, we are introducing new page. So they test new page in this sprint, but your automation testing tests all the 1,000 pages that were created before. So that's how it works. And that's why we have automation.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Good. So what you can do, guys, I won't be checking your homework, but what you can do actually, you can simply just play with the code. Whoever was not following me, go ahead and just watch the video again, follow the steps. Maybe it was too long because I was explaining other people, helping other people. Maybe for you, it's super quick. Just then go ahead, open that, the link. Oh man, where is that link? I lost it. Over here. I will. It's in the chat. So whatever you would like to play, just follow the guide, install your framework, install prerequisites, install your framework, and play with the commands. At the end, there's a WebDriver IO API reference. There are a few other libraries. So just library is just in case if your expect library is not enough. There is few more expect library methods over here that you can use as well if those are not enough. And also there is CSS selectors guide, because IDs are not the only thing, or classes are not the only thing that we can use. There are a lot of other stuff, like you would like to find preceded by a element that preceded by P. This is unique combination where P is preceded, A is preceded by P, and you will be able to find it. Or you would like to find specific element that is tag A, which is a link, A, it's a link, that has an attribute href that partially contains this text or equal to this, right? So there is a guide that shows you the different ways to find unique combinations or unique elements even without having IDs, but having some specific attributes or having specific, for example, where as you can see, preceded by, right? One element preceded by or placed after some specific element, or some orders, or find specific children of the element, or all children, and so on. So there is a lecture guide that shows you how to find some elements in the page as well. So and that's it. So actually a lot of things we just read daily. You don't have to know them. You just daily have these pages open and just read whatever you need to use. This is how it will happen to you daily. Then you will remember some commands, like to be displayed, you will use that daily. Click, you will use that daily. To have text, you will use that daily, and so on. So all of those commands you will remember. Some of them you will not remember. For example, I forgot how to use that property to find property of the element, right? And just right now I had to find it, but it happens. It happens. You just have to look on the web, look at this website and just find the command that you need. But this is what you do. You don't have to create anything from scratch. Everything is already created. You would like to build in Google API into your framework, just download the module and install it. You would like to use specific command, just find it. You would like to use Cypress, go install it according to their guide and use the commands from their website, because they have the names are different, but they do the same, but the names are different, right? And so on. So everything already created. What do you need to do? Just follow the guide and just use those commands, and that's it. Okay, so any other questions? Come on, last 5 seconds. Stop share.
What did you actually type to run all these tests?
npm-t, npm space t. All of those times I used npm.t because I put this script to run the test into the test script, and instead of using this script, I don't have to use that script anymore. I can use npm run test by the name of this script, or as I mentioned, shortcut npm-t, because this script is like built into JavaScript. It's like default script, so it has a shortcut. All the other scripts that you will create, they will have to be run by npm run with the script name. So you can either use like this or npm-t.
Okay, no, I got it.
Yeah, so all the times I was running the test by using npm-t.
Yeah, okay, I got it. Thank you.
I would just, and again, remember that tip, you just click up, it will find the previous command in the terminal, right? So what I was doing is just clicking up and down.
Okay, okay, thank you.
And that's it. Okay, any other questions? Okay, no questions. So on Thursday will be like more relaxed lesson. We won't be talking about anything. We won't be learning anything new. We'll be just talking about job market right now. I will be answering any other questions that you have. Maybe you will play with automation and you will find some problems and you will need help. I will check your JavaScript lesson homework there, the last one. and whoever completed 4 will get a discount. I will start sharing the discount with the guys who have completed the old things. We'll talk about resume, about job interviews, and any other questions that you have. So Thursday will be more relaxed, so you can relax now. And also, this is the last week of the current course. Then we will have like break for 2 weeks and start, I believe, on March 21st or something like that. Yeah, so whoever watching this video didn't complete the homework yet, you still have time if you would like to get a discount. So, but please, guys, I will be checking your homework precisely. So just complete the homework. And for automation, no specific homework. You can just play whatever you need to do here. And if you have specific questions, you can ask me in the chat right away, or on Thursday, I'll be answering any question that you have. So see you on Thursday. Thank you so much and have a great night.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, guys. Thank you for coming and thank you for staying with me. 3 hours and 20 minutes. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Thank you for your time.
I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.